Hello, welcome back to Water. My name is Beast, and today we're back with My Heart Had Wings. Fun little thing that happened this morning. Actually, no, yeah, it was this morning. I accidentally deleted last part, almost. Thank God that I could. Thank God it's a thing that you can just like drag it out of the fucking like garbage bin on the computer again. Otherwise, I'd be fucked. But hey, thank God that that's a thing that works. Also, for observant little bees, I did call last part "If My Heart Had Wing" instead of "In My Heart Had Wings." So yeah. Also, before you ask, I was unable to take a shower today because I didn't want to start this part late because I didn't want to like stay up too late, but also not compromise on the video length since I am hella enjoying this and don't want to stay up until like 2 a.m. again when I'm trying to like try to start getting up earlier again. So when I wanted to go take a quick shower, turns out my brother literally just entered. So I was not going to be using the shower for the next hour. So now here I am. Anyways, looks like we can't find anyone. It's been 2 days since I joined the soaring club. Meanwhile, Aga and I have been trying to recruit new members whenever we found some spare time. Although everyone was interested, nobody has joined yet.
やっぱみんな、Amane先輩にビビっちゃってるのかな
I don't think she's that scary though.
じゃなくて、すごすぎて。葵はほら、まだ転校してきたばっかだから実感ないかもだけど、あの人、うちの学校じゃ生きる伝説だから。
No, she was a legendary level widow already.
それに、人間嫌いだって噂もあるしね。
The basis for such rumors wasn't clear, but she didn't have any friends and hardly showed up for classes. She basically shut herself off in the garage. Even when she did come out occasionally, she was always alone and didn't contact anyone. If you look at it like that, she certainly seemed antisocial.
そのAmane先輩が率いる部活でしょ？ついていけるか心配みたい。それと、もう一つのあれ。
That rumor. There is something I learned while we were looking for members. It was something said only in whispers, like some urban legend.
ソアリング部に関わると、飛岡先生に目をつけられる。
That's true.
さあ、でも、可能性はなくはないんだな。
Tobioka Kujira. His first name meant whale, but he didn't have such a large build as one might imagine. However, it is said that his attitude was exceptionally big. I've seen him before. He was the teacher acting as a moral advisor, the nagging and annoying type. There were a lot of teachers that were like that at my old school, but here it was a bit of a rarity.
飛岡先生はね、ロボット部の顧問なのよ。
In other words, the advisor of Agios
Amane先輩が、その昔ロボット部で輝かしい成果を上げたことは前に話したよね。
But then she quit and he's salty about it. Motherfucker, did I? Oh, just barely didn't spill. It went like right to the edge of the glass. Jesus. Mean how she was one step away from the national championship. I got nodded.
それも、コントローラーのボタンの押し間違いで負けたの。
Since I knew Mochizuki Yamane's character to some extent, I could imagine her making such a simple mistake.
あの話には続きがあるの。飛岡先生は、当時からロボット部の顧問をしていたんだけど、その時、ものすごく悔しがってたんだって。
Yeah, I guess that must have been frustrating. Would have felt the same way if I had been in that situation.
次こそはって決意してたらしいんだけど、それからしばらくして、天音先輩はあっさりロボット部を辞めちゃったの。
Why?
さあ知らない。一説によると、天音先輩は全国優勝を逃した時も、特に悔しがってはいなかったそうよ。以来、慶風学園ロボット部は、その時の栄光を引きずりつつも、大した結果を残せずにいる。
So you mean that Tobioka resents Amane for that? Aga nodded with a serious expression. That's ridiculous. I can't really say that. My last school was good when it came to sports. There was a sports scholarship program and it was important for schools to get results in tournaments. The advisors and directors of each club were evaluated accordingly. At times, even their jobs were at stake. The robotics club is the most popular club at the school. Its performance is directly linked to promotion at the school. So if Tobioka really held a grudge against Amane, I couldn't exactly say. It was strange. Are you okay with this?
何が？
Well, Tobioka is your advisor, right? You'll be alright with him scowling at you.
まあ、ネチネチ嫌味言われるかもだけど、耳栓しとけば平気でしょ。
I don't think that's the main problem. I got inclined to
葵の言いたいことわかるよ。けど、もっと大切なものがあるから、しょうがないよ。
What's that more important thing?
それは、
あら、あなたたち、水瀬葵くんと姫木あげはさんだったわね。
Hello?
こんにちは、副会長さん。
部員集めの真っ最中ってところかしら。その様子じゃ、うまくいってなさそうね。
The Vice President gave me a bitter smile as she's made her assumption.
でもまあ、あと一人くらいならどうとでも。
言っておきますけど、幽霊部員は絶対に認めないわよ。
She stated frankly.
どうしてですか？
There must be other clubs that have ghost members, right? Why is it only us? I would dare to raise such childish protests. The Vice President flashed an angry glare at us.
他の小規模な文化系クラブならばともかく、ソアリング部は設備の規模が大きすぎるわ。あれだけのガレージを占有しているクラブは他にありません。
ロボット部はでっかいガレージ使ってますよ。
Yeah, but it's a massive club, probably.
あそこは部員の数が約60名。全国大会で実績も残しています。
それ残したの天音先輩なのに。
Vice President ignored Agea's complaint and continued to lecture.
もしソアリング部がガレージを明け渡せば、例えば、軽音部と和太鼓研究会の練習スタジオに改造することもできます。他にも、ラジコン部や写真部、英検なんかも欲しがるでしょうね。中を仕切れば、それら複数の部の活動場所として再利用も可能よ。そう考えると、幽霊部員を集めて形だけの部活動なんて、認められるわけがありません。
ごもっともです。
Agea and I felt small and we looked downward, embarrassed by her raising our childish
で
complaints.
すが、
She let out a little sigh.
あの望月先輩が声をかけるなら、ついてくる人はいるはずです。
In other words, you're not making any unreasonable
当
demands.
然です。私は別にソアリング部を潰したいわけじゃありません。他の部に示しがつかないこの状況を是正したいだけです。
However, Amane isn't trying to invite any members herself.
それがもどかしくてたまらない。ここは、この私が悪役を買って出てでも、天音先輩のお尻を引っ叩くしかないと。
そこまでは言ってません。いいですか？ちゃんとした部員を見つけること。幽霊部員なんて絶対に認めませんからね。
Vice President stressed that out and left us.
あかりさんって厳しいけどいい人だよね。
Yeah, she doesn't seem very flexible though. She seems familiar with students' names and profiles, so cheating by only borrowing someone's name probably wouldn't work. But it's a strange story.
何が？
Even though Amane quickly left the robotics club, she's been staying in the soaring club for years, right? To the point of becoming the super repeat student.
そういや、そうだね。
Even so, she isn't trying to get any new members.
やっぱり本当に人間嫌いなのかも。
more I knew about the situation, the less I understood it. After school, Augie and I headed to Soaring Club's garage. After all, we were already members.
すまないな、君たち。
As soon as she saw us, Amane bowed her head in apology. Got it out, senpai!
そうですよ。天音先輩にそんなことされちゃ、なんかこう、寿命が縮みそうです。もしダメだったら、おとなしくここを出ていくつもりだ。移転先はまだ探している最中だが。
Does that mean you're giving up on the club? Amane nodded apologetically. Senpai, why don't you look for new members yourself?
これは、私が自分のためにしていることだから。誰かを巻き込む理由がない。
Is that what she really thinks? Is that because you don't want to let anyone come near this place? So, then we...
そんなことないぞ。見学ならいつでも大歓迎だ。
But how about becoming members?
わからない。そうしないと、ここにいられなくなることはわかってる。それは、すごく困る。でも、どうするべきなのか。私はまだその回答を見出せていないんだ。
Senpai looked really stressed and depressed. We kept asking him questions, we'd be just pointlessly cornering her. By the way, Senpai, what are you planning to do after building the glider?
大会に出場するとか？
We could use the club's objectives as a material for our recruitment drive. As far as the quick check that we did goes, apparently there were competitions for gliders too.
大会？いや、そういうものに出場する予定はないぞ。
So, what are you gonna do?
行きたい場所があるんだ。
Faint smile crosses Amane's face as if she was about to start telling a nostalgic story. Place you wanna go
イス
to?
カが言ってたんだ。グライダーが完成すれば、そこへ行けるって。
Iska? We said that name before. We'll fly to the sky that Iska spoke of. Amane, immersed in memories, looked at the photo frame on the desk. The frame without a photo. She looked like she had gone into her little world, and it didn't seem like we could ask her any more questions.
それじゃあ私たち。
Search for people who might join the club. Whatever answer Senpai finds, avoiding revokement of the club's status was the top priority now.
すまない。いえいえ、その代わり、天音先輩は活動実績のまとめ、作っておいてくださいね。わかった。
It was past 9 o'clock at night. In the kitchen, I was washing 5 people's worth of dishes. In the dormitory, there were 6 people, including myself, but Amane didn't show up for dinner or to help prepare beforehand. She was shut away in her room. Just in case, I put her dinner in the fridge. If she gets hungry, she can eat it whenever she wants. She's feeling down. Why does she want to drop out of school? Was it because of what Aga said? She was being antagonized by the girls in class. Maybe because the lessons were boring. Or could she have a reason I didn't know about? There must be something. Perhaps even she herself didn't fully understand it. For people can't really say anything here. I didn't think that anyone would understand the real reason why I came back to this I didn't think that anyone would understand the real reason why I came back to this town. To be honest, I still haven't sorted it out myself. As I got into a somewhat gloomy mood, a sound of quick footsteps echoed throughout the hallway. Kanoko-san?
葵くん、なんとかして。
What is it? Could it be that you were attacked by a pervert? Kept my back to her, but when I was asking that question, my eyes intentionally wandered in her
違う
direction.
違う、コトリンよ。
Huh? She undressed for Havana? No, that can't be
一
it.
人でお風呂入るって言って聞かないのよ。
She just wants to take a bath.
ダメダメ。だって湯船に浸かるって言ってるんだもん。
Into the bathtub. There was a wheelchair in a bath's dressing room. Amane was using it exclusively for baths. She always relied on it when she was taking a shower. Never seen her do that, of course. She couldn't enter the bathtub in a wheelchair, though. In order to get into the bathtub, she needed someone's assistance.
ここんとこ、お姉さんが来てないでしょ。もう我慢の限界だって言って。
Her older sister, you say? Ooh. From what I heard, it seems that Hamane had an older sister. When her sister comes here, only then do they get into the bathtub together. However, she hadn't come around here recently. At least not since I'd become the dorm mother. I think this is the scene somebody warned me about that I would have to censor.
もう、ほっといてよ。毎日シャワーばっかでお風呂入った気がしないの。だから、私が入れてあげるってば。嫌よ、セクハラするでしょ。あっち行ってて。というわけで、頼むわ、寮母さん。お風呂に入れてやって。
What? Unwilling to accompany me, Kanako left me all by myself. Hey, wait! Left alone, I faced Hamane for the time being. Alright, shall I help you get in? She glared at me with a dreadful
お
expression.
風呂ぐらい一人で入れるわ。
Yeah, but, hold on! Hamane entered the dressing room and closed the door. Given the situation, I couldn't really exactly go barging in there. If you have any problems, call me right away!
覗いたら承知しないから。
She replied in a scary voice. Couldn't be helped. So I was waiting outside. I sat down in front of the dressing room door like a guard. It was pretty trivial, but being the only guy in a girl's dormitory made taking baths inconvenient. I was the only one who had a set time. That's why I wouldn't have any excuses if I carelessly ran into any of them in here. I could hear a faint sound of the shower from the bathroom. She's probably washing herself up before getting into the bath. I could hear the sound of water lightly splashing. Got kind of excited. The limited information I got from just the sound actually stirred up my imagination. Got strongly conscious of the fact that Amane was taking a bath. Wait, what am I thinking? If she knew what I was imagining, she'd probably try to tear me apart limb from limb as I tried to clear those thoughts from my head. Splash. Got up reflexively and opened the dressing room door and dashed inside. Are you okay? I jumped into the bathtub and caught Amane, who was struggling and wriggling, stirring the hot water with her hands. I lifted her in my arms. Hey, hang in there, Amane! Amane was still panting and desperately clung to me when I was helping her sit up. It's okay, you're safe now. She's just breathing frantically, by the way. Not talking at all. Amane looked at me. Looked like she didn't know who or what she was clinging to. It's alright, everything's fine now. Yeah, Kotori says. Amane nodded weakly while still clinging to me tightly. I stayed like this for a short while to calm her down. Suddenly we both realized what we had failed to notice earlier. Amane was stark naked and I was embracing her. Sorry! We didn't know what to do for a moment, but since she couldn't exactly kick me out, we kept holding on to each other for now. Well, just look up. Just look up. Trying to hide her chest, Amane stuck even closer to me. Don't worry, I'm not looking. Amane went bright red and looked like she was about to cry. I'll go now, sorry! Tried to put Amane down on the floor. I thought that if I went and called Kanako, everything would be settled. Don't go, she says. Squeeze. She clung to me weakly, yet desperately. But, I'm embarrassed, but, Kotori says. But please, Kotori says. Amane's hands were trembling faintly. I remembered that time when we first met on the windmill hill. Alright. When I nodded, her shaking seemed to have settled a little. She stayed like this for a while, then Kanako suddenly peeked into the bathroom.
なんかすごい音してたけど、どうしちゃったのこれ。
Well, this and that. This was the result of ignoring Kanako's advice. But I just couldn't say something like that in front of the teary-eyed, trembling Hamane. I'd feel really bad for her. Seems that Kanako also sympathized with her. Could you get a bath towel?
はいよ。
Then could you cover Hamane up?
はいよ。
While Kanako was putting the towel around her, Hamane was quietly clinging to me. Oh, I should have probably read Kanako's lines as well. Kanako said, I heard a big noise. What happened? Then, yup to getting the bath towel, and yup to covering Hamane up. While Kanako was putting the towel around her, Habane was quietly clinging to me. Afterwards, she immediately got into the bath with Kanako. Kanako also refrained from unnecessary jabs and was more worried about calming Habane down. While I was doing the dorm mother's job in the kitchen, Kotori had gotten out of the bath and came to see me. She was pretty embarrassed.
さっきはありがとう。
Well, don't mention it. I stopped myself from saying something like that's another one of the dorm mother's jobs. Being a dorm mother wasn't the reason why I did that just now.
呆れたでしょ。一人でお風呂にも入れないなんて。
Well, I didn't know how to answer. Habane left me and went back to her room.
もしもし、お姉ちゃん？なんでもない。泣いてなんていないよ。あのね、前に話してた学校のことだけど、もう決めたことだから。そっち行ったわよ。
Leave it to me! The dog I was singing, I ran ahead to block the cat's escape route. Aga and I blocked the stray cat's paths and searched for a third route. And then
おい
there,
で、猫ち
that was Habane with an almost sickeningly broad
ゃん。ほ
smile.
ら、あなたが好きな煮干しもこんなにたくさんあるのよ。
Now that sure was a wheedling voice. The sardines that you dang in front of the cat got his attention. However, as expected of a stray cat, it wouldn't let its guard down so
ハバネ
easily.
さん、秘密兵器よ。
Habane nodded and took out a small fishing rod, with a dried sardine hanged at the end of the line.
ほーれ、ほーれ。
Dangle, dangle. Sardine drew stray cat's attention as if it was a blessing descending from heaven. Habane was skillfully handling the rod. She was almost literally reeling the cat towards her with the dried
おい
fish.
でおいで。
Whenever the cat reached out its paw, Habane was pulling the rod away with the right timing so that it couldn't reach the sardine. Actually, it was slightly mean. Eventually, the cat ran out of patience and used its last resort. Jump! The cat jumped onto Habane's lap all by itself.
捕まえた。
Splendid. The cat settled into her arms.
よっしゃー。作戦大成功。
Can't believe it fell for such a stupid plan. Felt like saying, come on, stray cat, you can do better than that.
猫ちゃん。
Habane stroked the cat sitting on her lap with an affectionate smile that we've never seen before. It seemed the cat didn't really like being stroked. He was too focused on a large amount of sardines to run away.
お前、かわいいね。いい子だね。この子、ノラのくせに美猫だね。よしよし。
I guess started stroking it too. All girls like cats. Can I stroke it too?
こら、この子が怯えてるじゃない。せっかく苦労して捕まえたのに、逃げられちゃったら困るよ。
Oh, you know I like cats too. That was a bit unfair.
次はなんだっけ？
Next is the notebook to check. Things I want to do. It's a list of things, list of items written in Habane's notebook.
とりあえず、この猫を撫でまくりたいはクリアだね。
We were in the middle of clearing Habane's to-do list. Zage and I examined the notebook. Habane looked at us sideways with a little suspicion. How did it get to this point? To answer that, we need to look back to this morning. This morning I was worried if I should return the withdrawal notice that I had picked up early on it to its owner. Returning lost property should have been a natural thing to do, but if I did that, she would probably leave school right away, so I kept it. If that's what she wanted, I had no reason to stop her, but somehow I was hesitant. Spacing back and forth along the hallway until Habane, wearing her school uniform, poked her head out of her room. She was sneakily checking the situation outside. As our eyes met, she slammed the door shut. Why is she acting so suspiciously? Wasn't anything out of the ordinary for Habane to be suspicious, but there was definitely something behind her behavior just now. I concealed myself at the dining hall for a while. I waited about 10 minutes. Hat came out of the little entrance at the bottom of Habane's bedroom door. Took a look around the entranceway, then came into the dining hall.
What?
Shh! Hat went back to Habane's
誰
room.
もいなかったよし。
What did she mean by all right? Habane snuck out of her room. She took a peek into the dining hall just to be sure, but I was hidden behind the
い
counter.
ないみたいね。あいつに見つかったらうるさそうだもん。
By that guy, she probably meant me. Habane was wearing her uniform, but she didn't have her bag. The entranceway, she opened her notebook and looked inside. I sneaked up behind her.
これは前にやったから、今日は。
Are you going to skip school again today? Habane sprung up screaming and threw the notebook out.
どうしているの？ちゃんと確認したのに。
That's why you should stop sending a duck to scout for you. As I picked up the notebook that you dropped, I looked at the open page. Things I want to do. This was the page I saw before.
返して、私のノート。
Could it be that you are planning to do all of this before you quit school? Seems like I was spot on.
やり残しを今日で全部終わらせるの？もういいでしょ？返して。
I obediently handed back the notebook. And then when Hamane started leaving, I followed her.
なんでついてくるの？
I'm going to help.
は？なんで？
Must be tough by yourself, right? Hamane looked at me as if I just made a fool of myself. When we stopped in front of the door, the doorbell rung. What could it be at this
おはよ
time?
うございます。
Okay.
およ？お二人さんお揃い
What did you come here for?
で。いや、ほらさ、
Aga pulled me close and whispered to
昨
my ear.
日変な感じだったし、そろそろまたサボるんじゃないかって思って。
So you came here to invite Hamane to go to school with her. Your intuition was spot on.
マジっすか？
Yeah, the truth is, how should I explain this? Hamane, I'm borrowing your notebook. I went back to Hamane and took her notebook.
こら！
Using it, I explained the situation to Aga. I told her that she wanted to finish the whole things I want to do list written in her notebook today. Made sure not to mention the dropping out of school issue.
これは大仕事だね。
Aga groaned a little as she looked at the list.
そうよ。だから今日は学校休むから。そうするしかないよね。私も手伝うよ。
That is how Aga and I ended up going with Hamane against her will to clear the things remaining on her to-do list one by one. As far as the urgent search for the club members is concerned, I thought of a possible solution last night. That's why I was accompanying Hamane like
も
that.
ういいから、あなたたちは学校行きなさいよ。
She said while stroking the cat, but we didn't listen.
じゃあ、次は伊藤さんとこのペディグリーだね。
Aga pointed and read, stroked the head of the big dog in the neighborhood. Really, yeah, we have read this a couple of times from the list. The Ito family is wealthy and they have a very large dog called Pedigree. They are letting him run free in their garden. When we were kids, such a big dog was an unusual sight. We were often watching him lumbering around their spacious lawn. So we'd like to ride on his back. After lift Hamane up on 2 occasions. I have lifted Hamane up on 2 occasions. Both times she was like a feather. Perhaps because of exaggeration, but she was really
ハバ
light.
ネさんならギリギリいけるかもね。なんたってセントバーナードだもん。
Pedigree was a Saint Bernard. They're pretty huge. But seriously considering Hamane's silly idea, we headed towards Ito's house.
汗かいた
Said Aga as we put the baggage down on the grass.
ー。でも、ここは風があって気持ちいいね。
Today was sunny and it wasn't too humid. The sunlight was quite intense though, so the wind that blew felt nice. Here, I threw a sports drink to Aga.
お、サンキュー。
And one for you, Habane. Took orange juice from the convenience store bag and passed it to Habane.
りがとう。
Do you want to sit down here? 'Agea, give me a hand. Agea, who was carrying her sports drink, got up and got up. Agea, who was enjoying her sports drink, got up and came over.
何するの？
I want to put Amane down here.
いいって。おう、そうだね。
I left lifting Amane up to Agea. I told her how to do it and supported her from the side with my hand.
よいしょっと。ありがとう。
Amane sat down on the grass and comfortably straightened her back.
お尻が蒸れた。
James said wheelchairs can get pretty stuffy in the summer.
さあ、お弁当お弁当。
It was 12:30 now. Just the right time for a lunch break. We spread out the lunch boxes that we brought from the dorm and the juices and snacks that we bought from the convenience store. It didn't have a sheet, but it felt like we were having a
い
picnic.
ただきます。
I made both mine and Habane's lunch boxes while Agea had brought her own.
ほう、ハバネさんハンバーグだ。ねえねえ、春巻きと交換しよう。いいけど。
Agea delightfully stuffed her cheeks with the burger that she traded her spring roll for.
葵、料理上手だよね。女として自信なくすわ。
Your mom's good at cooking though, isn't she?
いやいや、現役主婦と比べなさんな。
Amane, not used to this kind of atmosphere, was restlessly eating her lunch. I guess uncomfortable as before. Okay, I either didn't notice that or was pretending not to. Was behaving the same as always.
私、学校サボったの初めて。今まで休みたいって思ったの、注射の日くらいだったからさ。でもこうやって友達と遊ぶなら、たまにはいいかも。
Agea said playfully. Skipping school for the first time must have been exciting for her. Oops. What? Feel like I fucked up. Must have excited her, yeah. If your mom finds out, she's totally gonna kick your ass. Agea's mother didn't hold back when she was kicking her daughter's ass. I've been kicked too a few times, and I got caught playing pranks together with Agea. Those kicks were heavy and quite
言
painful.
っちゃダメだからね。
Of course, if I did, I'd also get kicked. Or rather, I just didn't want her to worry unnecessarily.
次は何？
Here, I'll look at the notebook. Throughout the morning, we already managed to clear 5 points. As for pedigree, Agea was Ito's acquaintance, so we could enter their garden when we just asked. She didn't manage to ride on Pedigree's back, but she did succeed in hugging him. In the end, he playfully leaned on her. This must have been quite tough for her. Pedigree probably weighs more than her. On top of that, he licked her all over her face. Amane looked deeply moved.
カフェフラックスに行く。
Agea read out loud one entry from the list. Where's that?
あれだよ、ウィンディにある。それはもういいの。
Amane suddenly turned bright red and drew a line through that entry with a red pen. Agea whispered something
誰
into
か
her
一緒に
ear.
行きたい人いるの？違う、ただの勘違い。
Agea whispered something away, but Amane desperately tried to dodge the issue. What was that all
ちょっ
about?
と大人な雰囲気のカフェだよ。有名なパティシエがプロデュースした店で、スイーツが美味しいんだって。
So you want to go there?
だから違うって、勘違いなの。学校で誰かが話してるのを聞いて、美味しそうだなって思っただけで、そういう場所とは知らなかったのよ。
That kind of place? Oh, just a normal
カッ
cafe?
プル客をターゲットにしてて、店にはそういうお客さんがうじゃうじゃ。風ヶ浦の若い腐女子たちにとっては、デートであそこに行くのが一種のステータスになってるってわけ。本当に知らなかったんだからね。
Pow! Amane pointed at me. She was strongly denying it, but it wasn't like I had any suspicions about it.
葵
Really.
と言ってくれば？何を言ってるの？だから、そんなつもりで書いたんじゃ。
Amane had gone red and looked down. Wow, I wouldn't really mind. That place is expensive, right?
ケーキが一つ800円くらいから、 紅茶もだいたいそれくらいだったかな。
That was a little steep.
本場仕込みのミルフィーユが看板メニューなんだけど、すんごい美味しいらしいよ。そっちは一つ1300円ね。
For one cake? That's the same place as the supermarket that sells high-grade marbled meat for 2,980 yen for 100 grams. I was getting a somewhat larger allowance from my mom for helping out as a dorm mother, so next month we'll be fine.
だから違うって言ってんでしょうが。紅茶とケーキが美味しいお店だって、素敵なお店だって誰かが言ってるの聞いたから。別に男の子とデートしてみたいなんて言ってない。言ってない。
Must have been a serious matter for her since she repeated it twice. One by her determination, I just nodded
はい、
silently.
この話はおしまい。
She said one-sidedly. As she one-sidedly dropped the topic, she used a pen to thoroughly blot out that entry. Might have bled through to the other side of the page.
葵、残念そうな顔してない？
Huh? No, I don't.
甘いもの好きだもんね。
Yeah. Doesn't mean I'd get disappointed just by that. Wait, did I really look disappointed? I cleared away finished lunch boxes and opened a bag of snacks. Felt like we were on a trip, so we had bought various things. While eating some snacks, Aga took another look at the notebook after Amane was done with the blotting. Which reminds me, we're in the middle of talking about what to do next.
ねえ、これ何？
I was looking at the number one top entry on the list. It was written with much bigger letters than the other entries. I want to cross over the passage of clouds. Yeah, I thought that was quite strange too. What is it?
さあ。
You wonder?
だって、それ書いたの、私じゃないもの。
Oops, Haben answered while crunching the French snacks and she got from Ageha. And she mentions that the handwriting was different. Eat Haagen-Dazs and my head's contention. So on were written with neat uniform characters. Compared to the very methodical handwriting, I want to cross over the passage of clouds was written in a bold, rampant way.
じゃあ、誰が書いたの？ノートの持ち主よ。私が見つけた時には、もう書いてあったの。
There were a few entries written in this rampant fashion, and those were the neatly fashioned ones. Seems that Haben added them, continuing from what someone else had written. You found it? What do you mean?
私が飛び予想に来た時、部屋で見つけたの。棚の隙間に隠してあったのよ。じゃあこれ、ハバネさんのノートじゃないんだ。ええ。多分、前に住んでた子の日記よ。
When she said it's a diary, I hesitated to just go ahead and flip through the pages. Had Haben read it?
じゃあ、誰かの日記の続きに、ハバネさんが書いたってこと？
Though both Aga and I looked questioningly, Haben remained quiet. She didn't want to waste remaining pages. I don't think that this was the reason. I decided one more thing piqued my interest. I want to cross over the passage of clouds. What was that passage of clouds? When it comes to clouds. I looked up. There was a blue sky and some small clouds and a giant windmill. The windmill blades turning, but the wind really resembled the glide of wings.
じゃあ、次はこれ。献血！みんなで血を抜きましょう！最後のは結構きつかったね。
My eyes are still flickering. The last thing from the to-do list we did was complete Lady in Silver Gun. Something like this. If you're wondering what it is, it's a shooting game. You were at the arcade playing the game until we finished it just now. Took turns playing it and repeatedly used continues. It was so hard that it made getting to the ending all the more
い
impressive.
やー、なかなかの名作だったね。
I'm no good at shooters. The best of this game was Ageha, followed by Habane. Apparently she played it by chance when she was skipping school before and having fun at the arcade. It seems that she was enraged by the incredible difficulty. Determined to complete the game someday, she had added that entry to the notebook. She'd spent no less than 3,000 yen before we finished
こ
it.
れでリストは全部クリア？
When we were at it, we had also finished the entries that Habane hadn't written. The only one left was to cross over the passage of clouds. It Since we didn't know what that meant, the list was essentially all
終
clear.
わってみると、なんかあっけないね。
I'm glad you finished before dinner.
そうだね。遊ぶならまた別の日にすればいいもんね。
What's the matter?
なんでもない。
Habane's expression was dark. Just like Agea, it seems that she felt unsatisfied with everything ended unexpectedly quickly.
さてと、お腹すいたし、そろそろ帰りますか。
Hopefully your mom would find out about this.
大丈夫だって、うちの谷、そんなに豆じゃないし。
But Hotaru is quite serious. If she realized that you hadn't gotten to school, she might tell your mom, right?
そん時は、葵も芋づる式だからね。
Come on! Are you going to tell
5
me?
年ぶりに、お母さんのケツキック食らいなさい。
After saying that, jokingly, Agea turned to
今日
Habane.
はありがとう。ハバネさんのおかげで、すっごい楽しかった。じゃあ、また明日ね。
Agea said with a smile and turned to leave. With light steps, she walked up the gentle slope. Habane started saying something, so Agea stopped walking. Habane looked down, hesitating to speak. She looked like she could cry at any minute. Agea waited a little while for Habane to open her mouth. Patiently. However, Habane wasn't able to say anything more.
ねえ、ハバネさん。私ね、本当は今日、お話があって会いに行ったんだ。お話？一緒にやろうよ、ソアリング部。葵から聞いたよ。グライダーのこと詳しいんでしょ？ガレージに行くの、いつも楽しみにしてたんでしょ？一緒にやったら絶対楽しいって。きっと、毎日が今日みたいだよ。だからね。
I got close to her mouth and waited for a reply. I have no doubt that Habane was wavering. She was certainly interested in gliders, so I think she actually wanted to join the soaring club. So, if only she could express those feelings.
やらないって言ってるでしょ。どうして？どうしてもよ。あなたには関係ない。
Habane's blunt refusal made Agea's expression cloud up.
どうしてそういう言い方になるかな。余計なこと聞いてくるからでしょ。そんなだから、クラスでも浮いちゃうんだって思わない？
This time it was Habane who got irritated at Agea's remark.
浮いてて悪かったわね。誰かさんみたいに八方美人じゃないだけよ。八方美人ですって。
Oh, they calm down, both of you. Why are you arguing all of a sudden? Couldn't just stand and watch, so I stepped in. After we had such a fun day, let's just cut it. Whoa! Agea pushed me aside even though I was a hindrance. As though I was a hindrance. Oh good, it looks like he was quite pissed off about that ass kissing
こないだの
comment.
ことはみんなが悪いって思うよ。あんな風に言われたらハバネさんが怒るのも当然だもん。けどハバネさんにだって悪いところがあったと思う。どこがよ。ほらその態度。
Agea pointed her finger at Habane's face as if she was presenting irrefutable evidence.
挑戦的っていうかなんていうか。そんなだからみんなに誤解されちゃうんだよ。今日一緒に遊んだみたいにさ、もっと普通に打ち解ければいいじゃんか。親切にどうも別に頼んでないけど。何その言い方。あなたってほんと親切よね。は？知ってるんだから。私にやたらと話しかけてきたの先生に頼まれたからなんだって。
Agea faltered for a moment and held her tongue after hearing Habane's words. Her cheeks suddenly got dyed red.
それとも私のことがかわいそうだから親切にしてくれてたの？そういうのもううんざりなのよ。
Habane told her that and turned her wheelchair
さ
sideways.
よなら。
Hey! With that, she left by herself. Agea?
いいの。ハバネさんの言ったこと全部本当だから。
That's not the reason why you did this, right? Aren't you also being misunderstood?
ごめん。もう帰るね。
Agea looked like she didn't want to talk about anything now. Trembling shoulders, she went up the hill road. After I saw Agea off, I hurried back to the dormitory. Amane! Hey, Amane! Bang, bang, bang. Hat came out as if to protest about the noise. Hey, is your buddy in there?
What?
Could you step aside a little? Moved Hat out of the way and peeked into the Habane's room through the duck door. Damn, bed is in the way. Can't see anything.
いけないんだ
Kanako, hasn't she come back yet?
いいよ。まだみたいだけど、なんかあったの
Yeah, kinda. Say, could I ask you to prepare dinner?
私が
I'm counting on you.
嘘。ちょっと、それはやばいって。言っちゃったよ。どうなっても知らないから。これでみんなおしまい。せいせいしたわ。
That's not what it looks like, though. Habane wasn't surprised when I called out to her. She looked at me for a moment, but immediately turned back towards the lake. At night, the lake looked like a stretched out, vast, pitch-black darkness. On the other side was Windmill Hill. It was illuminated and looked really beautiful. Since she hadn't come back to the dormitory, I guessed that she might be somewhere around here. That's where I found her. This is where I found her. What are you doing here? Self-assessment? I said it in a light-hearted way, but she didn't answer. Let's go back. It's almost time for dinner. Habane shook her head. Can't stay here all the time, can you?
いやよ。帰りたくない。
Why not?
今日終わらせたくないから。
She muttered it quietly. Her cheeks faintly quivered for a moment. What do you mean?
部屋に帰ったら終わっちゃう。今日が楽しすぎて。終わらせたくない。
Tears were mixed in with her voice.
友達みたいに誰かと過ごしたの。久しぶりだったのよ。
Habane?
なのに、結局、喧嘩しちゃった。
Ah, that's true. Quarrel isn't the way to end a fun day. For me, today was unbelievably fun. It was like going back to my childhood, doing nothing but playing around from sunrise until sunset. Knowing that Habane felt the same way made me a little happy. About Agea. I didn't see what had happened in class. I can't really say anything, but she's a simple person. I don't think she would have done what the teacher had asked if she didn't want to. Even if she hadn't been asked, she's the type who would just do it anyway. That sometimes causes problems, though, right? I said it jokingly, and Habane smiled a little.
知ってる。
Today she wasn't asked to do that, but she still skipped school with us, didn't she? She had never done that before. And when things turned out like this, she's still stuck with us. She's not a bad person. I think that she probably really wants to be your friend. Even Agea wouldn't go this far for just for the sake of being kind.
私の足がこんな風になったのは今から2年前のことよ。旅行先で事故に遭ったの。それまではあなたやあの子たちと同じように立って歩いたり走ったりしてたわ。友達もたくさんいて運動部にも入ってた。バレー部だったのよ。
Really? I imagine Habane kicking the floor and jumping, launching an attack on the opponent's court. Surely it must have been a magnificent and lovely sight.
それが事故で足を怪我して車椅子なしじゃ生活できなくなった。私が行ってた学校にはエレベーターなんてなかったし、校舎の至るところに段差があって。
Step, even as little as 5 centimeters, is a huge obstacle for a wheelchair.
学校に通うことさえ困難になった。怪我する前のような生活。放課後みんなでハンバーガー食べに行ったり、服を買いに行ったり、そんな当たり前のことが何一つできなくなった。仲の良かった友達は気がつくとみんな離れていってたわ。一緒に遊べないんだから当然よね。
I don't think that's true. For friends, real friends, something like that wouldn't matter. They could still hang out with her. Saying that might have been just glossing over things, though. At least this was her own experience.
ある時、ホームルームで、私がみんなから孤立してるのに気づいた先生が、こう言ったの。ハバネさんはかわいそうな子なんです。もっと仲良くしてあげましょう。すごいショックだった。自分がどんな境遇にいるのか思い知らされて、その後、一人でこっそり泣いたわ。悔しくて、情けなくて。そんな風に気を使われるのが嫌でしょうがなかった。
Amane's hands, tightly grasping the hem of her skirt, were trembling. Looked like frustration at that time had come back to haunt her.
だから、ここへ来たの。完全バリアフリーの学校なら、誰にも迷惑をかけず、一人でやっていけるって。
Amane could go to our school all by herself and could get in and out of the classroom without anyone's help.
けど、やっぱりダメだった。学校って場所は、一人でやっていけるようにはできてないのよね。
It wasn't just a physical problem. It's a social environment you can't get by without being involved with other people.
おまけに、タイヤがパンクしたら遭難の危機だし、一人でお風呂にも入れないんですもの。なんかもう疲れちゃった。
She muttered and glazed at the windmill hill on the other bank. Calm silhouettes of giant windmills seemed to help her settle down. That sounds tiresome.
でしょ？私、結構頑張った方だと思わない？
I do. I agreed from the bottom of my heart. Couldn't simply say something like keep doing your best.
ソアリング部の部員集め、うまくいってるの？
Not really, but we should manage somehow. Have a feeling we'll make it in time.
そう。よかった。あの変な先輩、ずっと一人で頑張ってたんでしょ？途中で終わらせちゃ、かわいそうだもんね。私も、一度でいいから飛んでみたかったの。あのグライダーで。
Amane narrowed her eyes while saying this. She gazed at the sky above the windmill hill. Hey, you don't really want to quit school, do you?
そんなことないわ。お父さんやお母さんも心配してるし、私が学校辞めて家に帰れば、喜んでくれる。
Amane smiled when she said that, but to me it looked like a forced smile. Sat next to Amane and, just like her, viewed the scenery on the opposite bank. Before I came back to Kazugawara, I was in a bicycle club at a school far from here. He stole a glance at me when I started speaking and listened to me without a word. I may not look it, but I was a sports scholarship student, you know. Trained frantically every day in order to win races and be exempt from paying tuition fees. The practice was really tough, but riding the bike felt good, so I didn't feel like such hard work. Bicycle road races are incredibly tiring. In a big competition, you cycle 100 kilometers in one day.
100キロ。それはすごいわね。
Isn't it? To make matters worse, you also have to go over hills on the way. Hill climbing is absolute hell. While climbing, I always wanted to give up. But after you pass the top, cycling down the slope feels amazing. Couldn't tell if Amane was impressed or envious. It was fun, so I thought I'd try starting in a race. In one competition, I came third.
すごいじゃない。それって全国大会だったの？
I nodded with pride. Actually, that was one of the few things that I could be proud of. Anchan came to watch. I was really happy about that. And I got greedy. The first race of the second year, I had an accident. Another bike had fallen down and I got dragged along with it. It was in the middle of the downhill ride of all things. I was competing with several other participants. I was impatient and wanting to take the lead and got too close to another bike. Then the accident occurred. The other bike suddenly lost its balance and I got tangled up with it. Fell over and hit the asphalt at the speed of dozens of kilometers per hour. Smiling bitterly, I rolled up the right leg of my pants and showed her. That accident, my career as a racer ended all too soon. The scar from the surgery was still fresh. Habane looked at it and was at a loss for words. She could probably call that kind of injury getting away with just a scar. Rehabilitation, I was able to walk again. Doctor said that now I don't have any problems with normal everyday life. But I can't ride a bike anymore.
それが、前の学校を辞めた理由？
I nodded quietly. I was a scholarship student, so it was pretty hard after I withdrew from the club. But I could have stayed there. However, my friends from the bicycle club were there, and I was seeing them practicing. And I was watching them doing their best from afar. I couldn't live normally. My recovered leg from the rehabilitation actually made me feel even more depressed. If only I was completely unable to move, I could have just given up. Such a thought had crossed my mind back then. It was difficult and painful. All those pent-up emotions were too much for me. That's why I came back. Ran away back to my hometown. After I finished my story, I felt refreshed for some reason. When I think about it, Habane was the first person I have told all this. I didn't even open up to Aga and the others like this.
逃げたくなることもあるわ。生きるのって楽しいことより辛いことの方が多いんだもの。
What Habane said to comfort me was very pessimistic. That must be how she really feels. However, I didn't tell her this because I wanted to be comforted. There were still things I wanted to say. There are some things that I realized from running away. There's nowhere else to go. I can't escape any further. It's a dead end. But right now, I don't see any way forward either.
あるわよ。あなたなら他にも。
Thought I would have regretted running away, I mean. But it wasn't like that. My hometown, it's the same as always. Kindly welcomed me back.
よかったじゃない。
It makes it even worse. The warmth of my hometown makes me forget my pain and impatience. Felt like I was gradually being paralyzed. The pain, the importance of the things I'd lost. I was forgetting them little by little. If I lost that, would I still be myself?
あなたにもあるわ。グライダーが。
Yeah. I'm excited to think I could fly in it. I looked up at the night sky and imagined myself flying through the air. Besides me, Habane hanged her head. Do you have something like that? Something that lies beyond quitting school and returning to your hometown? Habane looked at me, visibly shocked. She was desperately trying to hold back the tears welling up in her eyes that were about to spill over.
そんなこと言わないでよ。そんな残酷なこと。
Whether she was saying something she has something ahead of her or not. When she realized this, she was more distressed than I expected. I don't think you have anything like that, right? Therefore, without your to-do list, everything is over.
違う。あれはただ楽しかったから。
If you want a bath, I'll help you get in. If you get a flat tire, I'll fix it as many times as necessary. Never need help, I'll do anything. So, a tear ran down Habane's cheek. But it wasn't only a single
これ
tear.
以上誰かの足手まといになるのはごめんなの。私の退学届返して。
We went back to get the withdrawal notice that had stuck to the back of the drawer.
そんなところに隠してたんだ。
When I held the piece of paper in my hand, those terrible things that I'd said to her skimmed through my mind. Do you have something like that? Something that lies beyond quitting school and returning to your hometown. Running those words I gave her the withdrawal notice. Dropped this, I picked it up.
ありがとう。
However, Habane didn't take it right away. Her taking it meant deciding her whole future. But in the end, she reached out her hand. Swish.
Huh?
Quickly pulled my hand away, much to her bewilderment. Actually, no.
はい。
I'm not gonna give it back. Held on to it and left the room.
おかえり。晩ご飯できてるよ。もう大好評でさ、お鍋丸ごと余っちゃった。これどうしよう。
Slipped past Konoko and made some rummaging sounds around the kitchen.
何してんの？
Not long after, Habane came into the dining hall.
返して私の退学届。
That's too bad. I've already hidden it somewhere.
なんてことするのよ。
Can't accept it. Just give it a chance.
は？意味わかんない。
Unreasonable feelings were bubbling up inside my chest. I knew how Habane felt. She must have had it tough. Just imagining it makes my chest hurt. but it's only been 10 days since I came. I felt like I wanted to do some of her, but the time I've been given was too short. I know, I'm just meddling. I totally get it.
何一人で言ってんの？返しなさいよ。それ私のでしょ。
No way, if you want it back, look for it yourself.
さっきまでのしんみりしたちょっといい話っぽい雰囲気は何だったのよ。
The hell if I know.
やっぱりこいついじめっ子だ。
I whistled awkwardly, playing
ちょっとかな
dumb.
こさん。はいよ。こいつがどこに隠したか見てたでしょ。さあどうだったかな。知ってても教えないけど。だって小鳥ちゃんいなくなっちゃうの寂しいんだもん。くー。
Amane's face became bright red. Looks like her rage gauge hasn't reached a max.
アホ人出だし。そんなのなくったって退学くらいできるんだからね。
Throwing sharp parting remarks, Amane hurried out of the dining
ご飯
hall.
できてるから後でチンして食べなよ。
The door to the end of the hallway closed with a slam.
どこに隠したの？
Sticking out my tongue, I pulled a piece of paper out from under my shirt.
やるじゃん。
Thanks for your help. Excuse me. Lunch break, Huggy and I were called to the staff room. It was because we skipped school yesterday. When we honestly said that we were having fun, we got a really severe scolding from our homeroom teacher. Well, it can't be helped. I'm glad they didn't contact our parents. I wasn't her usual cheerful self this morning. Like, I don't get Japanese schools. If my school noticed that I was cutting class and didn't hand in some kind of notice that I was leaving or something, they would have immediately called my fucking parents. Like, they would have immediately called because, hey, it turns out when we are supposed to be at the school, but something happens to us because we're not at the school, the fault lies with the school. Because they did not inquire, hey, where the fuck are those kids? And find out what happened. Because turns out, legal shit is like that. Like, I don't get people oh, okay, you're gonna cut class secretly without anyone noticing. People notice that you're not there. Honestly, God, I'm gonna just say just straight. I have cut class before. But it was either when I told one of my classmates, just tell the teacher that I wasn't feeling well and went home. Or went to lay down in the nurse's office. Or it was when I was already confirmed to be leaving school, dropping out. And even then, my cutting class then would just be sitting in the lounge for the top grade, not top grade, the 11th and 12th graders, basically the people that were getting ready for graduation, because we had this extra lounge for us where we could sit during our free periods. And even if I cut class, I would just be sitting in there and either watch videos, play on the fucking Wii they set up in there, or sleep. But never straight up go home. And here's the thing, I only did that in classes where I knew the teacher well enough, and the teacher was already aware that I was dropping out. Basically, pretty much the only classes where I did that was English, where the teacher was basically, okay, he's good enough for this not to be an issue, and I know where he is, so I don't give a shit. Or my math class, where the teacher was literally just every fucking class at this point, just I was in the front row in that class. I was in the front row at the window, and I just slept in front of him. I just slept in front of him after it was confirmed that I was dropping out. And he didn't wake me up. He just sat there yeah, okay. You back there, please answer the question.
私、昨日、
Age wasn't her usual cheerful self this morning.
ひどいこと言っちゃったよね。ついカッとなっちゃってさ。
Don't worry about it, Amane does understand your real intentions. Actually, she was regretting it too. Like poor
う
Age.
ん、違うの。あの時カッとなったのは、多分図星を疲れたからだと思う。
Whoops.
八方美人って言われてさ。
You don't kiss up to people though, do ya?
どうかな。私ね、仲いい子はたくさんいるけど、葵たちと遊んでた時くらい親友って感じの子、今いないんだ。
Getting along with a lot of people isn't really like ass kissing. Now that you mentions that, Age gets along with everyone, but she doesn't look like she has any particularly close friends. To be honest, I thought it was a little strange. What's the same? I got along with the colleagues from the cycle racing club, but unlike with you guys, I couldn't just talk with them about everything. I guess that was a question of adolescence. Also, I hadn't spent the same amount of time with them. Again, the others and I were neighbors as long as we remembered, and became each other's very first friends. If there was anyone else who I got along with, idiot, moron, knucklehead, all that verbal abuse suddenly sprung to my mind. We get along.
先生に頼まれたのも本当だし、みんなの輪に入りやすいようにしてやってくれって言われたの。
Even if you weren't told to, you would have been worried about Amane anyways, wouldn't you?
そのつもりなんだけどさ、自信なくなった。結局逆効果だったわけだし。
Amane was absent today as well. I thought it was her fault and was blaming herself. When I woke up this morning, Amane had already left. There were signs that the kitchen had been messed up. Apparently she had been searching for the withdrawal notes that I had hidden. It was actually in the drawer in my room though. It's not your fault that Amane hasn't come to school.
どうしてそう思うの？
It's not that just that I think. I'm almost completely certain.
ん？
The truth is, I remember that we were in the hallway of the school and took a quick look around. Nobody was passing by, so I didn't have to worry about anyone hearing that. Amane wants to quit school.
え？
Seems that she decided to quit a while ago, even before it returned here. I was surprised to hear this out of the blue and was left speechless.
それって。
It's not because she argued with the girls in class. There's a deeper reason for it. I think that is also the reason for her recent behavior and attitude.
じゃあ、ソワリング部に入らないって言ったのも。
Yeah, since she was planning to quit school soon, she thought it would just cause problems for
そ
her.
んな。
Whoops.
じゃあ昨日。そんな。じゃあ昨日の喧嘩って。
It was because you both
No, can't cut
misunderstood each other.
そんなのないよ。私たち喧嘩したまんまじゃん。このままハバネさんがいなくなっちゃったら、私どうすりゃいいんだよ。
Bam, bam, Age took her anger out of me by hitting my chest. Ow, ow, ow!
もっと早く言えよ、バカ。
I only found out by coincidence. Also, can't just go around telling other people her secrets, can I? Well, it's just a coincidence that I picked up the withdrawal notice. I didn't know when she was planning on submitting it, or if she was even really serious about it. Couldn't exactly ask her about it either.
でも。
Bam, bam. Okay, I'm sorry, that hurt. Seriously, stop punching me. Besides, I thought that she didn't want to quit school. I thought that she didn't want to quit school anymore. Coming to school with the meal preparations at the dormitory, and it looked like she was enjoying herself. Just assumed that everything was fine now.
今日の帰り、謝りに行く。葵も付き合って。
Yeah, of course. Stroked Age's head to calm her, crying a little. Anyway, today was Friday. It was the deadline of the grace period for the gathering club members given to us by the student council vice president, Kumoyakari. After school, I went with Age and one other person to the soaring club's garage, including the club's president, Amane. A total of 4 people were lined up. The vice president examined all of us one by one. A vein was clearly visible in the vice president's forehead.
何ですか、この人は。
What do you mean she's a new member?
新入部員のしぐれかなこです。
Is she gotta be the president instead of...
却下。
なんでですか？
Please explain!
そうだそうだ。
幽霊部員は認めないと言ったはずです。
なんで決めつけるんですか？
There's the tyranny of the student council!
そうだそうだ。私が空に憧れちゃ悪いっての？
前科6犯。この人は幽霊部員の常習犯だからです。
What?
いやー、秋っぽい性格で。
というわけで、却下です。
いいじゃん。同じクラスのよしみでさ。
You're in the same class? Yes, they are in the same year.
ねえねえ、あかりちゃん。
ベタベタ触らないでください。
She drove Kanako away with a flat refusal. Seems that she was used to dealing with her.
他に部員は
No.
ということは、廃部決定ですね。
副会長、これ。
Amane sheepishly passed her a printout. Those were the results of the Soaring Club's activities that she had compiled.
どうだろうか。
ここ数年でフライトしたのは先日の一度きり。それも、授業中という暴挙。大会を目指しているわけでもなく、学園祭にも不参加で、作品や研究内容を発表する場も特に設けてはいない。極めて個人的な趣味の範疇ですね。これはいわゆるサークル活動ではありませんか？
Senpai!
素直に認めちゃダメです。ダメかな、副会長。どうしても行きたい場所があるんだ。
There was something that sounded like desperate appeal in Amane's voice.
行きたい場所？
イスカと約束したんだ。
The vice president watched Senpai sadly for a short while, as if she was unable to weigh her true motive.
そうですね。部員は一人足らず3名。研究発表の場はない。とはいえ。あなたは
The vice president, who was about to say something very serious, looked behind us at the back of the garage.
ハバネさん、
Amane was there. She came in at some point.
返すものがあって。
She said to Amane.
私にかい？
However, Amane didn't come to us. She was beside the glider that had the sheet removed. She was looking slightly downwards at something lying on her lap. Amane walked over to her.
なんだい？これが完成すれば、雲の上に行けるの？
Amane looked at the white, sleek aircraft. And then she held out the thing that was on her lap, a photograph.
ここに行けるの？これは。
When Amane saw this, she opened her eyes wide in
写
surprise.
真、どこで？
Tears welled up in her
何
eyes.
なの？
No idea. Again, I walked over there to take a look at the photograph that Amane was holding up. It was a photo of clouds. Sunset dyed in indigo and orange. Or was it sunrise? The sky beautifully dyed by a clear morning glow. There was a huge long cloud. It was stretched like a cloister, laid across the firmament. This must have been the passage of clouds.
綺麗。
Yeah. Again, I, Kanako, and even the vice presidents, we were all fascinated by the miraculous spectacle shown of the
この
photograph.
場所に行けるの？
Amane asked again. For a moment, her mind couldn't make a connection between the question and the view of the photograph. That was because it was a place too far away to be associated with the word go. This
こ
place.
こに行くの？この雲の上に？
Riding this glider. I imagined this engineless white airframe inside the photograph flying magnificently and gracefully across that solemn sky. It really was a miraculous sight. All of us, Ganakonakri, held our breaths, waiting for Amane's answer. Can I go to this place?
行けるさ。
She remembered as she took the photograph and looked at it
イ
nostalgically.
スカがそう言ってたから。あの子は天才なんだ。
Amane said, Amane, with tears in her eyes until just now, smiled happily after saying this name.
私も入部したい。私みたいな子で邪魔じゃないなら。
She spoke hesitantly without much confidence in her voice. However, her eyes showed a strong determination. Seeing those eyes, Amane answered.
もちろん、大歓迎だ。
Opening time? I met this guy and yearned for it, apparently. There's nothing to censor here. Thank God they didn't actually include any nude in the fucking opening. That's good. That's grand. That's fantastic even.
いやー、綺麗な写真だったね。
そうね。
ありゃ、あかりちゃんご機嫌なのね。
そんなことないわよ。
無知でバシバシして、いざ飴よってところで小鳥ちゃん来ちゃったもんね。あれじゃあかりちゃん、ただのガミガミ怖い子みたいに思われちゃったかも。
嬉しそうに言わないでちょうだい。憎まれ役は望むところよ。
私だけは、あかりちゃんのこと、ちゃんとわかってるからね。
ありがとう。手を離してもらえるかしら。別に不機嫌になってなんかいないわ。ちょっと考え事していただけよ。ねえ、かなこさん。
はいよ。
あの転校生、何者なの？
寮母さん？
寮母？
うん。いい子だよ。惚れた？
バカおっしゃい！転校してきたばかりで、あの人間嫌いの望月先輩にうまく取り入って、抜け目ない男だと思っただけよ。
それ褒めてんの？
ええ、
そう。
For the time being, the minimum number of members needed for the club has been reached. The vice president left the garage together with Kanako. The rest of us continued to admire the photograph that Amane had brought.
綺麗な空。
This cloud has a very unusual shape.
こんな雲見たことない。そうだろうな。この雲が出現したのは、君たちや私が生まれるより前のことだ。私たちが生まれる前。
What on earth is this photograph? It was really beautiful. The photo itself was similar to the pictures in our old album. It was printed on the kind of paper you'd usually get when you had them developed by the local photo
これ
studio.
は、モーニンググローリーと呼ばれる現象だ。ある特殊な条件下で起こるとされている。
I know it's funny how they're always like continuously talking like going above the clouds and all that. Bitch, just go to like a mountain inn. Like I've stayed at a mountain inn before, Wayne. Like one morning I just was violently aroused from my slumber by my classmates because it was a class trip and like basically torn outside because the fucking like it was like a thick like extremely large cloud, but because with this high, the cloud was like below us. It actually like was right. The cloud was actually right on top of like the like weird sports ground, like the grounds area of that inn where it's like, ah yes, here's a tennis table as well as like a place for playing football and all that. There was also like a small playground for kids and all that. And like that whole area was basically entirely fucking covered until like all the way to the horizon with clouds, and the sun was like shining down on those clouds. It was really fucking pretty. And I could appreciate that. I took a photo. I've lost it by now, sadly. But still, they fucking woke me up. I'm going to smite them.
Morning glory?
Can't help but feel like that's some like dorm name from an anime. Actually, hold on. No. That's Yakuza. That's one of the orphanages from Yakuza. That's the orphanage that Kiryu opens in Yakuza 3.
空に何キロにもわたって雲の道ができる。
Path of clouds like this, several kilometers long.
とても珍しい現象で、一番最近起こったのが今から26年前。その時、当時のソアリング部の人たちがグライダーで飛び、この写真を撮影したんだ。へえ。じゃあ。
This photo was taken in Kazagaura?
うん、そうだが。撮影したの、ここの OB？ ああ、そうだ。
Think that such an amazing spectacle occurred right here in my hometown. It was photographed by a senpai from the club to which I now belong to myself. What I thought was so distant suddenly turned out to be much closer, but it still just didn't feel real. It felt kind of awestruck.
ちょっと待って。
She looked like she realized something important. What is it?
さっきグライダーで飛んで撮影したって言いました？言ったぞ。フライトログにそう書いてある。ってことは。
And I took another look at the photograph. Take a photo from this perspective. The camera has to be above the clouds. Actually, can't fly this high with the cloud.
そうなるな。物的証拠も目の前にある。
Again, I shifted our attention to the white aircraft. Didn't know how many meters high in the sky it was, but I knew it wasn't just a fantasy. But when I imagined that aircraft soaring above the clouds, it just seemed quite unreliable.
私がこの学校へ来る以前に、ソアリング部は廃部になり、設備だけがここに残されていた。この写真もここに残されていたものなんだが。
Amane took the photograph in her hands and looked at it fondly.
イスカはここへ行きたがってた。私とイスカはこの場所を目指してグライダー制作を始めたんだ。
Iska. The name came up again. Whenever Amane talked about this person, she always became very wistful. Who was this Iska? She's probably dead now.
これ。
Amane was sitting listening to our conversation in silence, held out a notebook to Amane. I thought that I had seen it before. It was the notebook with the things I want to do list.
その写真はこれに挟まっていたの。これは イスカの高校日誌じゃないか。どうして君がこれを持っているんだ？寮の、私の部屋にあったの。寮の部屋。もしかして君は、トビウオ層に住んでいるのか？
A little surprised to hear that name all of a sudden. Habane nodded.
棚の隙間に隠してあったの。中は日記みたいだった。グライダーのことと、あなたのことが書いてあったわ。私？そう。多分。だってあなた、イスカの親友なんでしょ
Amane didn't reply to anything. She just looked at the worn-out cover of the notebook.
それを読んで、私、グライダーに興味を持つようになったの。翼だけで風に乗って空を飛ぶ。まるで鳥のような飛行機。そんなので雲の上を目指すなんて、すごいって思った。でも、もっとずっと昔のことだと思ってたから、日記の日付だと、イスカたちはもうとっくに卒業してるはずだし、まだ続けてるなんて思ってもみなかった。
But if they were interested in gliders, why didn't you But if you were interested in gliders, why didn't you come check out the soaring club? Asked casually. Actually, she was so interested in gliders that just seeing the real thing made her eyes sparkle. The owner of the diary might no longer be around, though.
それは。
Habane tightly grasped the hem of her skirt.
私なんて入れてもらえないって思ったから、ハバネさん。
Listening to her words, I felt a dull pain coming from my right knee. It was a place where she couldn't enter. That's what she believed, and that's why she didn't try and find out about the current status of the soaring club. Might have been similar to how I tried to avoid hearing any information about the bicycle club after I injured my knee. The more I knew, the more envious I would become.
だから、あの風車の丘で飛んでるグライダーを見たときは驚いた。すごく嬉しくて、心臓がドキドキしたわ。
That was the time when Habane and I first met. In that peaceful landscape, she was enthusiastically watching the white aircraft flying over. So that's whoops, that's Amane's voice. When Amane heard Habane's story, she took a deep breath.
見てもいいかい？うん。
Oh no. She mentioned that she crossed out one of the things. And they said that it's probably bled through. That's gonna have actually erased an important part. Isn't it? Oh, that's bad. I'm gonna put the notebook on the table, but didn't read it right away. First she went to boil some water in the electric kettle. She prepared some tea. The pleasant aroma of black tea filled the air. Except I sat down and finally turned the first page. Her cheeks went slightly pink and her eyes seemed kind of nervous. Seba's eyes went over the page from left to right, slowly, carefully. It looked like she was just digesting it one word at a time. She took a sip of the steaming tea. Then she placed the cup back on the saucer and turned to the next page. Seba smiled. I guess something fun was written there. Just yoink. She was giggling, indulging herself in memories. That nervousness that she was in her eyes when she was reading the first page had disappeared.
笑ってるね。
Yeah. It was a calm, happy smile. So we thought. When she looked at the next page, her eyes opened wide. Something surprising must have been written there. From the look of her face, she seemed amazed as she continued to read. Amane's expression continued changing while she was turning the pages. She went from smiling to surprised to troubled to angry and then back to smiling.
ねえ、どんなことが書いてあったの？ソアリング部の活動記録よ。と言っても、そのほとんどがただの日記だけど。イスカが大親友とどんな風に毎日を過ごしたか、それが汚い字と読みにくい文章で書いてあった。アマネ先輩の大親友か。イスカさんってどんな人だったんだろう。かなり変な子よ。多分、 いたずらして誰かを驚かせたり、寮の食堂でパイ投げやったり。
But when you read it, it influenced you, right?
うん。楽しそうだったの。すごく。
You could tell by the look on Amane's face that East Coast flight log was overflowing with funny stories. It was also proof that the time they spent together was equally fun. She approached what was probably the last page of the diary. Amane's eyes gradually filled with tears. As was smiling wistfully, a transparent drop ran down from the corner of her narrowed eyes.
何か悲しいことが書いてあったのかな。
But he's smiling.
西は途中で終わってるわ。最後に書いてあったのは、あれよ。やっておきたいこと。
The page that we were looking at.
雲の回廊を渡りたい。
Amane muttered quietly, then burst into tears. But she was still smiling. Since she was smiling, she had to have been happy. And I guess those tears were flowing because it was all in the past. Just looking at her made me feel a heart-rending pain as if my chest was crushed. After reading the last page, she closed the notebook and went back to the first page. It was the third time now. She still laughed, gasped, worried, and got nostalgic as if it was the first time she was reading it. We quietly watched as she repeated this again and again. Tea that you had only taken one sip from was definitely cold by now. It seems like she has totally forgotten
そっ
about
と
it.
しておくしかなさそうね。
Alright. There were so many things I wanted to ask her about, but it didn't feel like a good time to talk. As we left the garage, the sky was dyed with the colors of sunset. The deeper red than a sunrise, the darkness of night approached from the eastern sky.
あの雲の写真、綺麗だったね。
Yeah.
あそこへ行く
I guess him ditching to do it. Felt the same
のか。
way.
じゃあ私、一度ロボット部に顔出してくるね。掛け持ちだから、毎日は顔出せないけど。
I don't seem that busy, so she'll be fine. It's great that she was with us, even if she was also in another club. Sorry for all the trouble.
いいってことよ、相棒。
Bam! I got slammed my shoulder and turned around to Amane, was following a little behind
ハバ
us.
ネさん。昨日はごめんなさい。
Pah! I bowed her head very quickly.
別に謝ってもらうことなんてないと思うけど、私、ハバネさんの事情何も知らなくて、なのに、知ってるようなつもりであれこれ言って、本当ごめんなさい。
Amane glanced at me. She must have realized that I had told Aga about her wanting to quit school and so on.
わかればいいのよ。
She sat and turned her head sideways in an aloof manner. I walked determinedly towards Amane and whack. Gave her a chop to the top of her head.
何すんのよ。
From now on, every time you take on that dishonest attitude, I'm gonna give you a chop. Amane was taken aback. She glared at me like I was a demon or devil.
こいつのどこにそんな権限が。
Come on. There's something you want to say, right?
ごめんなさい。私も言い過ぎたわ。あなたは八方美人なんかじゃない。ちょっと、うざいくらい、親切なだけよ。うざ。
Whack.
ちょっと、痛いじ
If it didn't hurt, you wouldn't learn
ゃ
anything.
ないの。
Rubbing her head, she shot me a hateful glare. Then she turned away sullenly and rode ahead in her wheelchair.
あかんべー。すごいね、葵。ハバネさんみたいな美少女に、チョップかますなんて。
I guess set this slightly dumbfounded.
私行くね。早いとこ、ハバネさんを追っかけてやって。
Yeah, say it.
またね。
Aga went back towards the school building with light skipping steps. On the way,
明日から面白くなり
she shouted this in a loud voice.
そう。
I caught up with Amane. With a meek expression, she was quietly pushing her wheelchair along. Want me to push you?
いい。
I don't know how tiring moving a wheelchair was, but if I tried using my hands to travel the same distance they normally walk, it would be exhausting. I went behind her and pushed the
いい
wheelchair.
って言ってるのに。
I told you that'll be helping you. Can't do it all the time, but whenever my hands are free, you can rely on me.
だって、そうしてもらう理由がないもの。
There is.
どこに？
Because we're friends. I felt a little embarrassed as I said that. I don't think I'd have been able to say that clearly if I hadn't been behind
い
you.
つそんな、友達になったって言うのよ。
Then we hang out yesterday, that means we're already friends, right?
う
Generally speaking, it would be correct to say so. Without any way to talk back, Amane kept her mouth shut. For a while, we followed the route back in
聞
silence.
かないの？どうして私が残る気になったのか。
I'm not sure if I want to know or not. What matters is the fact that you are staying in the end.
あの退学届、もうしばらく預かっててくれない？
Sure, she wasn't going to throw it away.
私にとっては、ここが最後の砦。あの先輩みたいに、いつまで踏みとどまれるかわからないけど、もう少しここにいたいの。でも、私って時々弱気になるから、こう見えて結構あるのよ。そういうとこ。
Seems like she was trying to say that she was actually a tough girl, but I can only see you as a crybaby. If I said that, she'd just get mad, so I kept quiet.
だから、あなたに持っててほしいの。ダメかな。
Suddenly losing her resolve, she glanced back at me. Why me? Why me? The question came to mind, but I didn't say anything. The fact that it was me made me quite happy, to be honest. That's fine, but I have one condition.
何？
Habnet put her guard up. Looks like she thought I'll make another unreasonable demand. Stop referring to me as you. You can call me by my first name, we're friends already. Would that be a problem? You don't think of me as your friend? Asked, a little anxious.
そんなことない。私、でも、あなたなんか、あなた、じゃなくて、葵くん。
Kun, huh? She bent forward as if to say that this is as far as she'll go. So you're gonna hold back, Amane? Wait, I mean, Kotori?
慣れしい。
Good then, Habane.
下の名前でいい。そっちのがいい。
Really? Well then, Kotori. Habane. No, Kotori had a complex and mysterious expression, showing signs of dislike and embarrassment. We'll definitely go there above the clown. Thin clouds were hovering across the sunset. From now on, whenever we look up the sky, we'll be thinking about this. I will fly. My heart was beating frighteningly quickly.
雲の回廊を渡りたいか。いいっすか。君はいつも言ってたな。真っ暗だ。いつの間に夜になったんだろう。
Clatter.
紅茶が冷めてしまった。みんなは、もう帰ったのか。もうここでは続けられないかと思っていた。いつか、君がつなげてくれたんだな。あの子たちを、ここへ連れてきてくれた。
Like, you brought them here. Yes, Iska caused the accidents. Imagine, like, seriously, your friend, like, died. It's like, okay, what can I do? Like, those two are gonna show up if come to her if I do something. Break his kneecaps and break her legs overall. Perfect. It looks like I can keep going. Just a little longer until the end of the summer. Extend the little wings which fly in the sky highly. Still sounds stupid. Ping ping.
早く早く
Come down, we aren't in a hurry. Just finished checking out and left the convenience store to catch up with Amane. Kotori, who had left first with a bag on her lap. And I grabbed the wheelchair's handles. Then I grabbed the wheelchair's handles. Let's go, Kotori, hold on tight.
よーし、飛ばせ
Kotori's signal, I pushed the wheelchair as fast as I could. Okay. Totally. Fine. Tried to act tough, but I couldn't hide the fact that I was out of breath. My stamina's gotten worse. I managed to run this far while pushing the wheelchair, but it made me realize just how much my stamina has declined. Kotori couldn't just watch, so she took a sports drink out of the bag.
葵くん
Thanks!
そんな無茶して、膝は大丈夫なの
My knee? Yeah, no problem. I think. According to the doctor, I shouldn't have any difficulties with everyday life. The problem is whether or not this was above the level of everyday
途
activity.
中でもういいって言ってるのに、結局学校まで走ってきちゃうんだから。
I've been in a good mood since this morning. That's because our club activities were about to start. It was Saturday, a day off, but we got up early and came to school.
せっかく無事だったんだから、大事にしなさいよね。
You're right. Finished talking and took a drink. I've sweated a lot, so I quickly gulped down the liquid.
膝がどうしたって
Arya appeared right next to me out of nowhere. It's nothing, no big deal.
ふーん。おはよう、ハバネさん。おはよう、姫岸さん。
Kotori greeted Arya hesitantly. You got here first?
違うよ。さっき葵たちが猛スピードで追い抜いてったんじゃん。
Is that so? I didn't notice.
車椅子をして走る人なんて初めて見たよ。葵くん、私、先に行くね。
Kotori, who felt subconscious around Arya, said that awkwardly and went on ahead. I think that rather than being annoyed, she was just embarrassed. I probably understood that too.
葵くん
Well,
別に。それじゃ、私も先に行こうっと。じゃあね、葵くん。
she sounded slightly annoyed as she said that. Then she also went on ahead. Wait, Arya! Chased the two of them and entered the garage. Ah, there. Amane was already inside. Just standing in front of the drawing board with a serious expression. She was really focused and hadn't noticed us. For a moment I hesitated to call out to her. But if we don't say anything, she could stay like this for who knows how long. Hey, Amane!
君たち。
Hi, Zenpai.
チース。
Hagen and Kotori mimicked my greeting. We're looking forward to working with you who started today.
ああ、The
troubled face Amane pointed at me.
君は、なんて言うんだったかな
Come to think of it, I had never told her my name, even though we met several times. Second year class, Minasaoi. Gave a very sharp self-introduction, the others followed
同
suit.
じく、2年 A 組、姫木あげはです。同じく、2年 A 組、ハバネ小鳥です。葵、あげは、小鳥。葵、あげは、小鳥。
Was memorizing our faces and names in turn.
私は5年 C 組、いや、D 組だったかな。望月あまねだ。
She was missing so many lessons that she had apparently forgotten which class she was in.
昨日はありがとう。君たちのおかげで、まだここにいられる。
Hearing her thanks made us feel somewhat obligated to her. Is it really alright for us to join? She was hesitating about getting new members. Did she already find the answer she was looking for back then?
うん。君たちを歓迎するよ。ソワリング部へようこそ。
I know what she was talking about, or how she arrived at her answer, but it appears she had no problem with us joining the club.
じゃあ、よろしく。
She said that almost like she was ditching as we returned to the drawing board. She stared at the diagram with a serious expression. Senpai,
なんだい？
what should we do?
ああ、そうだったの。お茶でも飲んでくつろいでいてくれ。そこの棚に漫画もあるぞ。
On that shelf, there was every volume of Slam Dunk. The covers were faded, looks like they were in use for many years. The two girls had somewhat disillusioned expressions. My face probably looked the same.
何かすることはないの？だから漫画でも読んで。そうじゃなくって、グライダーのこと。え？
We really want to get involved with the glider. Amane opened her eyes wide.
そうなのか。変わってるな、君たち。
I want to hear that from you! Say, could it be that it's bother us joining the club? You didn't want anyone coming near this garage, did you?
そんなことはないぞ。ただ、今まで一人でやってたから、勝手がわからないんだ。
Seems that when Amane was a step away from the national championship of the robotics club, she also did most of it by herself.
典型的な集団生活が苦手なタイプね。
You want to talk?
はーい。質問いいですか？
I got raised her
どう
hand.
ぞ。ここって具体的にはどんな活動をするクラブなんですか？
I get asked a fundamental question. Yes, we already asked her a simpler question before, but she only gave us an outline. If we are actually going to take part in this club, we will need more specific information.
だな。グライダーを製作し、飛ばす。
That's it. I think everyone knew that already.
作るのと飛ばすの、どっちが主体なんですか？グライダー作ったら、
What the fuck?
は飛ばすんじゃないの？
But you're not aiming to enter competitions or anything, are
う
you?
ん、目指さない。
She answered bluntly, without even a shred of
じ
interest.
ゃあ、作る方が主体なんですか？違うわ。だって、あの雲の上まで飛ぶのが目的なんだもの。そうよね。
I'm gonna nod it, though without much confidence.
グライダーはどこまでできてるんですか？先日、ようやく組み上がって、テストフライトしたんだが。
I'm gonna walk deeper inside the garage while she was explaining
主
that.
翼が折れてしまった。
Broken wings were laying in the corner of the
強
garage.
度が不足していたらしい。今、設計から見直しているとこなんだが。
Looking at twisted wings, I'm gonna let out an annoyed groan.
強度計算をやり直しているが、今のところミスは見当たらない。理由がわからなくて困っているんだ。
If Amane didn't know that, there was no way we would. As I thought that to myself, okay, I moved close to Senpai and examined the broken part of their main wing.
ああ、こりゃ折れるわ。
She said right away.
どうしてわかるんだ？だってほらここ、厚みがバラバラだし、ところどころ歪んでる。そうかな。後方が雑だから、接合部が負荷に耐えきれず割れちゃったんですよ。
Amane was shocked.
そうだったのか。
And then
私は手先が不器用だからな。
she grew timid. You made everything by hand, piece by piece?
すべてを私がやったわけじゃないが、機体そのものは手作りだ。これ、手作りなんだ。
Kotri and I were quite shocked. Onyaga didn't seem that surprised.
そうか。雑か。そうか。雑か。
Oh no, she was totally
葵
depressed.
くんが手に入れてくれた部品のおかげで、ケーキの不調は直すことができた。主翼さえ修理できれば、またテストができるんだがな。
We're gonna repair the wings by hand.
うん、もちろんだ。
Age checked the part of the wing that wasn't broken. She had a troubled expression for some reason.
こりゃ翼は一から作り直した方がいいんじゃないかな。でないと、多分他のところも折れますよ。
Amane looked like she was about to cry. Now, we'll also help.
これ FRP ですよね。それなら私やったことあるし。すぐ取り掛かりましょうよ。その方が早く飛べるんでしょ。
Motivation of these 3 new members have returned.
そうしたいのは山々だが、残念ながら素材がない。補修用にいくらかはあるが。
この大きさのものを新たに作り直すとなると、かなりの量必要になりますよね。普段はどうやって調達してるんですか？
通販だ。
On the laptop, Senpai opened a mail order website that was selling these kinds of materials.
主翼を作り直すなら、だいたいこのくらいは必要だな。
Saying so, she entered the number.
いえ、こりゃとてもじゃないけど、部費じゃ賄えないでしょう。
I don't know what budget the Soaring Club had, but the price displayed on the mail order site was no small amount.
まあ、問題ないだろう。
Click. Senpai submitted the order.
いいんですか、先輩。
ん？ああ、このくらいの金額なら全然平気だ。
What did she mean by that? Could it be that the Soaring Club was getting favorable treatment when it became the funds?
届くのはしばらく先か。制作作業はそれからだね。
Which meant we didn't have anything to do with it now.
それまで、私らは何をしていればいいの？
漫画でも読んでいてくれ。
For that order, our Soaring Club president went back to staring at the blueprints. Although I said there was nothing for us to do, that wasn't entirely true. We were still beginners when it came to gliders, so we took some books from the shelf and started our own little study session. Aerodynamics, glider construction, and so on. When it came to the basics on how airplanes fly, Amane already explained them before. So for the various methods of creating what is known as lift, the more we found out, the more interesting it became. Oh no, this is another fucking lesson time. And then it was noon.
おいしい。おいしい。久しぶりのカロリー摂取だ。
Amane was already enjoying the bread and rice balls that Kotori and I bought at the convenience store this morning. I'll ask just for reference. How long has it been since your last date?
46時間ぶりだな。その時は学食のカツ丼を食べた。大盛りだ。
これも食べる？
Out of pity, Kotori offered Amane her pickled plum rice ball.
ありがとう。
豪快な食べっぷりだね。
Witnessing the Mochizuki Amane style eating techniques for the first time, Aria was pretty freaked out as expected. Well, because the beautiful, mysterious senpai image that Aria had been holding on to until now was completely annihilated. Since we had club activities in the morning, Aria also brought a lunchbox. Are there any other parts we need? Senpai once she ate her fill.
一つだけあるかな。
何ですか？
どうしても手に入らなくて、実はすごく困っている。
From the way she said it, we all prepared ourselves for something serious.
何なの？
パイロットだ。
Shing! If this were on TV, she would have said this with a dramatic expression while looking straight at the camera. Aren't you going to pilot it?
こないだ飛んでたし。
私は下手だからな。この前も危うく着陸に失敗して尾翼を痛めるところだった。
ほんとだ。お尻こすった跡がある。
私は運動神経にはあまり自信がないんだ。
Hang on, could you come here for a second? I called Amane over to an open space. Please try to do some repeated side steps.
おう、いいぞ。
Amane tried to do some repeated side steps like I asked. Oh no. They're gonna mention the
おっと。
jiggling boobas.
あまねちゃん、 反復横跳びよ。おう、わかっているぞ。
These were supposed to be repeated side steps, but each time the number of steps was different. Sometimes she even turned her body. It should be just a quick movement from side to side, but it looked like an extremely clumsy dance instead. It's true, she's terrible. Not thinking, we all murmured in unison. Motor skills probably didn't have that much influence on handling the glider, but that clumsiness was on a pretty dangerous level.
それに、高所恐怖症だしな。
She has a fucking fear of heights!
高いところへ登ると、怖くてめまいがする。
Then why the hell are you making a glider?
でも、一応資格は持ってるぞ。必要なものは一通りな。
In other words, she's been trying really hard. You can stop. That's enough of the repeated side steps.
疲れた。
Amane wiped the sweat from her forehead. Since she was such a beautiful girl, that gesture looked absolutely great. Suddenly, Kotari raised her hand.
私やりたい。パイロット、やってみたい。
As Kotari vigorously volunteered, Amane made a troubled face.
すまないが、君には無理だ。どうして？練習なら頑張ってするわ。
There's pedals,
私、こう
probably.
見えて運動神経はいい方なの。
There's pedals, probably.
ラダーペダルを踏めないだろ？ラダーペダル？
Yeah, there were pedals in the cockpit. If you can't push them, you can't pilot them. Kotari withdrew dejectedly.
ああ、私はいいわ。乗るより作る方が興味あるし。
Aga was looking inside the main aircraft's cockpit, said this as if it were someone else's problem. That left only one person. I want to do it. If it's reflexes we're talking about, I was fairly confident.
よし、じゃあ決まりだ。葵くん、君にはパイロットの訓練を積んでもらおう。
Yes, that's how I suddenly became a pilot. Like he's suddenly like, I can even do the side steps you want. I have to do them one leg though because of the knee, and then you just does like perfect side steps on one leg. What the fuck is wrong with this man? After club activities were over, we returned to the dome. Come on, cheer up.
別に元気だもん。
Ever since it was decided I'd be the pilot, Kotari had been feeling down. Just because you can't pilot doesn't mean you can't fly. That glider was a double-seater. And there were two types of glider cockpits, single-seater and two-seater. Single-seaters fit only one person. But the two-seaters can be used by two people at the same time. Once I'm able to fly, you're the first person I'm taking with me.
なんか上から目線でムカつく。けど、それで手を打っといてあげるわ。
Alright, well then, let's prepare dinner. Hello, we're back. Push the wheelchair through the
お
doorway.
かえり、葵くん、小鳥ちゃん。ただいま。
Chronicle, thanks so much for
いや
yesterday.
いや、うまくいったようでよかったよ。私も大空をかけてみたかったわ。ところで小鳥ちゃん、来てるよ。
When we entered the dining hall, an unknown woman jumped at Kotari and hugged her. I saw it as Kotari hugged the Saint Bernard the other day.
お姉ちゃん、ごめんね。なかなか帰ってこられなくて。
Kotori's older sister was weeping while clinging to her and rubbing their cheeks together.
ひばりで話して。
And she realized that Kotari was suffocating. She released her. Who's she?
うちのお姉ちゃんよ。
Kotari introduced us half-heartedly, like it was a bother.
お姉ちゃん、この意地悪そうな男の子は、まあ、見た目ほど意地悪じゃないんだけど、でもチョップとかして暴力的だから。
Oh, come on, introduce me
う
already.
ちの新しい寮母さん。
Nice to meet you. I'm Minasa Aoi, the current dorm mother. I bowed my head, and Kotori's sister quickly stood up and straightened her messed up
ご挨
clothes.
拶が遅くなりました。
私、ハバネヒバリです。小鳥ちゃんのお姉ちゃんです。
Hey, Orihime! It's been a while! Am I right? Am I right? This is Hibari. Her name Hibari. My Hot Ed Wings VNDB. Characters. Hold on. Akari is like a main route girl? Fuck? I was not expecting that, honestly. Tono Soyogi. Should be able to see her here. Come on. I'm not looking for Shizora no Memoria. Looking for Miyagete Koran. Come on. There we go. Miyagete Koran Yozora no Hoshi wo Shiratori Orihime. I'm gonna roll there. She said the last part very proudly.
新しい寮母さんがいらっしゃったと聞いていたので、一日でも早くご挨拶しなくちゃって思ってたんです。けどしばらく仕事で日本を離れていたので、これ、つまらないものですが、どうぞ皆さんで召し上がってください。
She bowed deeply and passed me something in a wrapper of a famous Japanese sweet shop. Thank you very much. I was surprised at first, but it turns out she was a perfectly sensible person. She seemed very nice and gentle. Compared to her little sister, yeah, completely different.
何買ってきてくれたの？
三船屋の水羊羹よ。あと、冷蔵庫にアイスクリームもあるわ。やった！さすがひばりね！
Totally rushed straight to the fridge. Can eat that after dinner.
いいでしょ？一口だけ。
No.
相変わらずケチなんだから。
小鳥ちゃんがあんなに楽しそうに。心配して損しちゃ。そうだ！小鳥ちゃん？
She approached Kotori, who was rummaging inside the open
小
fridge.
鳥ちゃんに会えた嬉しさのあまり、すっかり忘れてたけど、学校辞めちゃうって本気なの？
声大きいって。
There were other boarders outside the dining hall.
ねえ、どうしても辞めちゃうの？何か嫌なことあった？もしそうなら、お姉ちゃんが先生に言って。
やめるのやめたから。まだちゃんと決めたわけじゃないけど、もうしばらく頑張ってみることにしたから。
そうなんだ。
Anybody breathed a sigh of
小
relief.
鳥ちゃん、突然学校辞めるなんて言い出すから、あっちにいる間、もう心配で心配で。
ごめんね、心配かけて。
それはいいんだけど。
That reminds me, just a moment ago she said that she was working away from Japan. The other day, Kanako said that Kotori's sister hadn't been here for a while, so that was the reason. Where'd you go?
海外出張。お姉ちゃん、ドイツ語とスペイン語と英語とスウェーデン語がペラペラだから。
Ernsthaft? Har du forspisset så bara? Räcker en tjej, Zelda. Alla. Och så där tjejsträck. Fuck. Ich keine Ahnung, warum wir jetzt davon so reden. Ich werde es einfach für Zeit so reden, wenn normalerweise durch. Es wird so lustig sein. Zuzuschauern wird leid, sich wundern, was zur Hölle los ist auf einmal. It's actually like proper hard for me to speak German right now. Because I'm so used to just talking English now that I had to concentrate on speaking German. Was verdammt nochmal komisch ist. Like, es fühlt sich verdammt nochmal komisch an. Richtig komisch. Ekelhaft, wirklich. Anyways, that didn't tell me much, but it's amazing.
私は嫌だって言ったのに、会社の命令で仕方なく。外国語勉強してるのは、ただの趣味だもんね。小鳥ちゃんと会えなくなるくらいなら、いっそ会社辞めちゃおうかとも思ったんだけど。いや、だから、それはやりすぎだってお姉ちゃん。いいえ、そんなことありません。本当は明日帰国するはずだったんだけど、もう心配で心配でいても立ってもいられなくって、一日早く切り上げてきたのよ。
She clung to Kotori again as she said that.
ねえ、本当は何があったの？お姉ちゃんにみんな聞かせてちょうだい。もういいって。大したことじゃないの。2ヶ月遅れの5月病みたいなもんよ。うるる。
Hibari turned her moist eyes towards me. She was probably telling me that if I knew anything, I should spill the beans. I think Kotori is alright now. She went to do club activities today, even though it was a day off from school.
部活？
She joined the soaring club, right, Kotori?
ソアリング部？何かしらそれ。それは。
Have you heard of gliders? That's like an airplane. It's used to fly through the sky.
空を？違うの、ひばりね。私は飛ばないから。っていうか飛べないし。今日もお前じゃダメだって言われたばっかだし。
As Kotori frankly tried to cover it up, she sent me a sign with her glare. That's right, we don't just fly, we build gliders and stuff. I don't really know why, but I followed her lead.
そう。だから心配しないで。
Hibari looked like she accepted it for the time being and didn't pursue this issue any further. Kotori was relieved too. It seemed that revealing our club activities would have been a problem. By the way, something smells good. Appetizing smell had been drifting through the air for a while.
パエリアを作ってたんです。出張先で教えてもらったの。皆さんの分ありますから、どうぞ召し上がってくださいね。
Hibari's home cooking was superb. Paella was a Spanish dish made of cooked rice with shrimp and shellfish. It was quite refined, so it went down really well with everyone in the dome. Top of that, after the main course, there was the dessert. Sweet bean jelly from a famous Japanese sweets shop. It was perfect. Apparently, Hibari had been visiting Flying Fish Mansion since a while back and had been treating Kotori and other boarders to her home cooking. The owner, who was previous manager, gave her special permission to come any time since she was aiding the disabled Kotori. Thanks to her, tonight's dinner was exceptionally satisfying.
食べた。
Hibari is very familiar with everyone. At the dinner, she was very open with her sister and the other boarders.
そうだね。小鳥ちゃんがだから、お姉さんなりに気を使ってるんじゃないかな。
Yes, by like that, she meant her personality and not her disability.
お土産、絶対みんなの分買ってきてくれるしね。
Yes, she holds a little sister dear to her. While we were talking, Hibari left the dining hall, pushing Kotori's wheelchair. Thank you for the meal, Hibari.
いいえ、後片付けもやっておきますから、置いといてくださいね。
And she had just gotten back from an overseas business trip. She's an energetic person, despite a pretty petite appearance. No, I'll do it.
そうそう。美味しいご飯食べたんだから、働くべきね。
She said this like it was all her doing. Kotori must also be proud of her sister. Kotori, give me a hand later, okay? You also ate that delicious meal. For some reason, Kotori's reactions were a little cuter than usual. Was because of her sister's influence.
じゃあ、その前に、お姉ちゃんと一緒にお風呂入っちゃいましょうね。それで、今夜は一緒に寝るの？ベッドは別だからね。なんで？だって、寝ぼけて抱きつかれると苦しいんだもん。それが楽しみで急いで帰ってきたのに。
Kotori headed to the bathroom with her downhearted sister. When I was watching them leave like that, I remembered how Kotori was desperately trying to cover up that issue with the soaring club a little while ago. Was it because her family would worry if she were to do anything dangerous? It seemed very unnatural to me, and it preyed upon my mind a little. We were safe. Listen, I'm in a constant state of paranoia. Shut the fuck up, please.
夏だからってお腹出して寝ちゃダメよ。ちゃんと歯を磨いて、1日1回、3回お姉ちゃんにメールして、わかったから。水瀬さん、
Yes?
どうか、小鳥ちゃんのこと、よろしくお願いします。
Sure, leave it to me. That sounded a little arrogant. I answered as a dorm mother and as Kotori's friend.
じゃあね、小鳥ちゃん。何かあったらすぐお姉ちゃんに知らせるのよ。
Worried about his sister till the end, he got in the car and left. Today was Monday, the start of a new week. Looked like he was going straight to work. She came here in her own car, and apparently her workplace and her house were about an hour away.
ひばり姉に2泊されると疲れるわ。
Didn't your kind sister?
それは認めるけど、いい加減、妹離れしてほしいもんだわ。
Seems that she would like to be more independent from her older sister. Okay then, shall we go to school now?
であるからして、つまりこの場合。
I was restless throughout the whole 6th class of the day. When this finished, school will end for the day. In other words, it will be time for club activities. Yesterday was Sunday, so we had a break from the club. I was taught that my piloting training will start today, so I couldn't help but anxiously look forward
こ
to
こ、期末の範囲内だからな。しっかりノートを取っとけよ。
it. The teacher's leisurely way of speaking made me feel even more impatient. While I was staring at the clock hung in the classroom, I was waiting for this very moment. It rang! The bell rang!
ああ、じゃあ今日はここまで。今日のところ期末に出るから、しっかり復習しとけよ。
The teacher repeated the last bit of information, and then the class president finally told us to stand and bow. Goodbye, Sensei!
あ、廊下走るな。
When I went out to the hallway, Kotori was already standing by outside since his seat is near the door.
遅い。
What could I do? My seat is next to the window.
さあ、行くわよ。
Hold on, Ageha's not here yet. We peeked into the classroom. Ageha was surrounded by several girls talking with them about something.
だから、ここは。
Apparently they didn't understand something from the last lesson. They asked her about it. They make a big deal about grades at the school. If you fail any subject, it's possible that you'd have to repeat the year. It's not like Ageha's grades were anything special, but in certain specialized subjects, she was usually near the top of the rankings. That's why her friends were going to her for help just before the end of term's exams. Hey, Ageha!
ああ、葵、ちょっと待ってて。もうすぐ終わるから。
Ageha waved through a gap at the wall of girls surrounding her.
ねえ、葵くん。
She said it'll take just a little while longer.
じゃあ、先行ってましょうよ。
She asked us to wait for her.
どうせ向こうで一緒になるんだから、いいじゃない。
Wait for Ageha is probably going for Ageha's route. Just one point towards her, I guess. However, it is the first choice. So save here. Actually, let me just look at the route guide. Second choice list is for each route is only available once Kotori's route has been cleared. Actually. Actually. Wait for Ageha is the only option Like, wait for Aga is apparent. It's not that wait for Aga is an option towards Aga's route. It's that go ahead with Kotori is an option towards Kotori's route. And I think I already have pretty much zoomed in on who I'm going to go for first. Second choice list of each route is only available once Kotori's route is cleared. Like, that's confusing. Oh, Amane Kotori clear needed. Well, that's bullshit. Why do I need to clear Kotori's route in order to do Amane's route? The fuck is that about? Huh? Oh, no. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck is that about? Wait, hold on! So, the only routes available to you at the start of the game are Kotori or Ageha. After which, after doing Kotori, you unlock Amane and Asa, whoever that is. Then after you clear Asa, you unlock Yoru, whoever that is. So what you're trying to say is... This is bullshit! I call bullshit on this! Why? Just let me go for Agea first! Not Agea, Amane. Sorry about that. Oh, bullshit. This is bullshit. So I guess since the game is not gonna give me a fucking choice... That's why a little longer. I clicked go ahead with Kotori though. I'll just hang out for now.
じゃあ、私は先に行くから。
Kotori said with a aloof attitude and really started leaving. I couldn't do anything about that, so I gave Agea a quick shove for chasing after Kotori. We could wait for her a little, couldn't we?
じゃあ、待てばいいじゃない。
Am I really that against going with Agea? Unintentionally asked in an anxious voice.
嫌じゃないわよ。でも、なんか緊張するんだもん。気まずいっていうか、あの空気に耐えられないの。
I got the feeling that Kotori always had trouble figuring out how to act around Agea. Yeah? You're the very picture of an at-home an elephant, abroad a cat.
人のこと分析するのはやめて。
Yeah. Honestly, the fact that I have to the fact that I can't just go for Amane immediately has immediately drained my energy, and I just want to end it for the day. I'm so butthurt. She was putting up a front, but was actually shy. This was probably part of the reason why she didn't fit into the class after coming to the school.
そんなにあの子と一緒に行きたいなら、そうすればいいじゃない。私、一人でも行けるもん。エレベーターあるし。
That's not what I'm saying. Stop crying.
泣いてなんて言いません。
Really? That's good.
葵くん、私のこと泣き虫だと思ってるでしょ。
I don't.
ムカつく。
I made him mad. Kotori stopped moving her wheelchair. Was she tired? Want me to push you? Kotori shook her head.
私だって、本当はあの子と仲良くしたいわよ。でも、やり方がわからないんだもん。それ、多分、私、もう嫌われてるだろうし。
Huh? What do you think of that?
だって、ひどいこと言ったし、それに、いつも態度悪いし。
She knows that she has a bad attitude. Why won't she fix it?
ねえ、どう思う？やっぱ嫌われてるかな？死んじゃえとか思われちゃってるかな？
Nah, she doesn't. I declared this for
なん
starters.
でそう言えるわけ？
I've known her for a long time, so I know that much about her.
そうかしら。
She's so distrustful. Kotri put her hand on her chin and started thinking.
どうすれば仲良くできるんだろう。
Well, for example,
うん。
if she tells us to wait a moment before going to the club, then how about actually waiting for her?
だって、それ、私に言ったんじゃないもの。
It's only because I called out to her.
うん
Should we go back to the classroom?
いや、いい。今さら戻るの。恥ずかしいもん。
Even better, we're going back. She really did sound embarrassed as she said this. Then she moved her wheelchair forward. Sure, I was worried about the delicate situation between the two of them, but there's no need to rush. Things like this take time. Friendship is something that grows slowly. If there's anything I can do to help, then I will. How are we gonna do the flight training? Amane once all the second years had gathered. Senpai had been tampering with a bundle of tangled PC cables for a while. You could only see the top of her head from the other side of the
飛
desk.
ぶんだ。
Flying. This won't be anything like doing flight training to build physical strength, but we still can fly, can we? You can't be thinking of you flying using those rubber wings.
そこの壁際の荷物をどかせてくれ。
As requested, we tidied up things piled up against the garage wall.
うわぁ。なんだかよくわかんないものが山盛りだね。
Many strange boxes and antique parts had been left here before Amane and us came to this garage.
なにこれ？なんでこんなところに剣とか槍があるの？こっちにヌンチャクあるよ。
It has a broken toy gun too. Of course, the sword and spear were just well-made replicas. As for the other things, if I had bought them, then after returning home, I would think, why did I buy this? I would definitely regret the purchase. There were many things that looked like typical souvenirs from a field trip. You could easily tell that the members were from long ago were using this garage as their own private
で
place.
きたわよ。よし。じゃあ電気を消してくれ。
And then the lights were turned off. When the lights were turned off, the inside of the garage became pitch black. Amane was operating some kind of machine. The screen was then projected onto the wall where all that stuff was piled up before.
プロジェクターだ。映画館みたい。
We're going to watch an instructional video.
葵くん、こっちへ来てくれ。
We sat in a chair that Amane had prepared, and she gave me a computer game controller. What are we gonna do?
だから飛ぶんだよ。これはフライトシミュレータだ。
Flight simulator? I've heard of those, but I don't know how they work exactly.
ゲームみたいなものだ。フライトを疑似体験できる。実際に飛ばなくても、操作方法やグライダーで飛ぶ感覚は、ある程度身につけられるはずだ。よくわかんないけど、なんだかすごそうね。市販のやつですか？いや、自分で作った。これは風ヶ浦の地形と我々のグライダーに特化したシミュレータだからな。
With Amane's input, the image had changed. Kazagaura, the town we were all familiar with, was being shown from the sky, projected onto the wall. It was shown in pretty CG on the level of RPG cutscenes of the latest console.
やっぱすごいよ、この人は。
I got mumbled while looking at the projected
昨日のう
screen.
ちにデータは最新のものにしておいたから、よりリアルな感覚で飛べるはずだ。
Okay. A display of Amane's amazing work has raised my fighting
で
spirit.
は、始めるぞ。
The glider modeled in CG appeared on the
操
screen.
作を覚える前に、グライダーの動きについて説明するぞ。グライダーの運動は、縦軸、横軸、垂直軸。この3つの軸を回転する動きで説明できる。 まずはローリング。
Longitudinal axis that ran along the length of the fuselage, and the movement based on rotation on that axis were displayed on the screen. This movement is called rolling.
次にピッチング。
This time the lateral axis that went along the fuselage horizontally, and the movement based on the rotation of this axis was shown. This movement raises and lowers the nose, and it's known as pitching.
そして最後はヨーイング。
Now the vertical axis that went through the center of the fuselage perpendicular, and the movement based on rotation along this axis were displayed. This movement that turns the nose left and right is yawing, not yawning.
この3つがグライダーの基本的な動きだ。わかるか？
Yeah, more or less. Imagine this game just suddenly had you play an actual flight simulator. Like they decided to take a page out of Noraneko 2's book before it was even released. At least I think this game is older than Noraneko 2. Noratuoto 2, I mean.
グライダーがどんなに複雑なマニューバーを描いて
Yeah, more or less.
いるように見えても、実はこの3つの動作の組み合わせによるものなんだ。だからパイロットはこの3つの動きを操作するだけでいい。
Let's see, so the basics are quite simple. Kotorinaga were listening to that conversation and nodding along.
じゃあそれを踏まえた上で実際に操縦してみよう。
After that, Amane chose a new mode. The screen changed again. After Amane chose a new mode, the screen changed again. The sky and the horizon were projected across the whole wall.
これはコックピットから見た映像ですか？ああ、そうだ。へえ、こんな風に見えるんだ。
Glider was already in flight. Because I was used to video games, it felt incredibly slow. I didn't really feel like I was moving forward at
離陸
all.
と着陸、特殊な状況を除いて、君が操作するものは2つ。操縦桿とラダーペダルだ。
I've seen the cockpit many times, so I knew about these. Control stick is the stick that comes out from the floor between the pilot's feet. I've seen movies with pilots flying fighter planes that were holding control sticks. I had a button and pressing it launched missiles. Of course, the glider doesn't have anything like that. It looks like the steering wheel of a car. There is a rudder pedal on both the left and right side. They can be operated by stepping on them with your feet.
それぞれコントローラーに対応している。左のアナログスティックが操縦桿。LR ボタンがラダーペダルだ。
I tried the analog stick and the L and R buttons on the gamepad. With a small delay, the field of vision on the screen abruptly moved. Whoa!
無茶をするとストールして墜落するから気をつけろ。
Okay.
操縦桿だが、これはさっき説明した3つのうち2つ。ローリングとピッチングを操作できる。左右に倒せば、その方向に機体がロールする。
I leaned the control stick slowly to the left. The aircraft responded with a small delay. The horizon on the screen leaned to the right.
操縦桿を倒すと、どうして機体が傾くの？いい質問だ。それは、操縦桿でエルロンを操作しているからだ。エルロン？
When Kotori heard that unfamiliar word, a question mark appeared above her head.
主翼についている補助翼のことだ。主翼の外側の後ろについていて、操縦桿を左に倒せば、左翼のエルロンが上がり、右翼のエルロンが下がる。そうすると、左翼の揚力は減少。逆に、右翼の揚力は増大するから、機体は左にバンク。つまり、傾いて旋回をする。
Turning by leaning, huh? Similar to a bicycle. Bicycle has a handlebar, but that does mean you turn by moving it left and right. Turn by tilting the frame.
操縦桿を使ったもう一つの操作、ピッチングについてだが、ピッチングとは、要は機種を上げ下げする動きのことだ。操縦桿を後ろに引けば頭が上がり、前に倒せば下がる。
Try pushing the control stick forward. Ooh. The image moved and the amount of ground visible on the screen had increased. The aircraft pointed downwards and got the impression that it was flying
機
faster.
種を下に向けると、機体は下降していくが、その分速度が増す。
I see. Got the image of it slipping down on the air. This time I tried pulling the control stick back. The image moved, now displaying nothing but the sky. Couldn't see the horizon anymore. Felt like I was still flying, but I noticed speed was decreasing.
これはどうやって操作しているの？またさっきのエルロン？いや、違う。以前、紙飛行機で実験しただろ？機体の上下の動きを制御していたのは。
Kotri was playing around with the wings of the airplane. She made one do a beautiful loop-the-loop.
水平尾翼
Amane nodded with
ピッ
appropriation.
チング。つまり上下の動きは水平尾翼についたエレベータという舵で操作する。
This time was a familiar word. However, this was different than an elevator that goes up and down a building.
通常、機種を上げれば揚力は高まる。
In other words, the aircraft will climb.
だが、上げすぎると逆に揚力を失うことになる。気流が翼面に沿って流れることができなくなり、剥離してしまうからだ。この現象をストールという。揚力を失うとどうなるかは説明するまでもないな。
The glider can't fly without lift, so it'll inevitably fall from the sky.
そうなったら、もう落ちるしかないんですか？いや、立て直すことは可能だ。ストールはどんな時にも起こり得るから、ストールからの回復訓練はしっかり積んでおく必要がある。
Okay. Hearing about the possibility of falling from the sky made me tense up a bit. When you're flying through the air, even a trivial mistake can be fatal.
試しに一度落ちてみようか。
Huh? Amane pulled the anti-lock stick back hard. The nose rapidly moved upwards and then...
臨界無改革を超えた。ストールしたぞ。
Suddenly, the gentle flight of the aircraft came to a halt. It instantly started hurtling towards the ground with the image was spinning like crazy. Game over.
ゲームオーバーって。まあ、こんな感じだ。訓練ではわざとストールやスピンを起こして、そこから回復する練習をするんだ。実際に空でやると怖いぞ。死ぬかと思うぞ。
If someone is afraid of heights, that really might be the case. Because the simulator was made really well, even the image alone had a powerful impact. Amane selected a mode and we started flying once again.
で、次はラダーペダル。
And the simulator, there were control with the yellow knob.
これはラダーを操作するわけだが、ラダーとは日本語で方向だという。垂直尾翼についている。右を踏めば機種が右を向き、左を踏めば機種が左を向く。ヨーイングの動きを制御するんだ。横を向くの？でも曲がるときは、主翼についてるエルロンを使うんでしょ？エルロンだけで旋回した場合、グライダーは正面を向いたまま、バンクした内側に滑っていくように移動することになる。どういうこと？前を向いたまま、斜めに進むってことじゃない
？Amane nodded.
そこで、同時にラダーを操作してやり、旋回したい方向へ頭を向けてやるんだ。
Like the handlebars on a bicycle. While leaning the bike, you turn the handlebars in that direction, otherwise you won't be able to turn well. Using bicycles as an example, leaning the bicycle left and right like the ailerons, at the handlebars like the rudder.
なるほど。旋回したいときは、エルロンとラダー、両方が必要と。そうだ。けど、それだけじゃまだ不十分だ。 旋回中、機体を傾けると揚力が減るので、機体が大きく降下してしまう。なるべく高度を保ったまま旋回するには、操縦桿を横に倒しながら、少しだけ後ろに引いてやる必要があるんだ。
When you're turning, you have to use all of these simultaneously. To use and house. Quite intuitive.
以上。飛んでいる時に必要な操作はこれだけだ。
After ending your explanation, Senpai turned on the light.
結構簡単なのね。そうだね。
When I heard unfamiliar words like aileron and rudder, it sounded complicated. However, actually doing it was quite simple. Moving the control stick in all directions and stepping on the left and right pedals. Stepping on the left and right pedals. That's all there was to it.
アクロバットでもしない限り難しい操作はほとんどない。グライダー乗りに必要なのは風を見つける能力なんだ。
Fight the wind.
どこにどんな風が吹いているか。サーマルはどこにあるのか。そうして見つけた風に上手に乗ることができるかどうか。
So you mean things like knowledge, experience, and
そ
intuition?
んなところだな。ケーキ類の見方はおいおい覚えてもらうとして、まずは慣れることだな。あとはこっちのパソコンの画面で練習してみてくれ。
Got it. Sat down in front of the PC and started practicing immediately. Club activities I'd finished and we were on the way home. Except we weren't. I must save and stop here for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's shorter, but hey, feeling butthurt, okay? Also, I'm tired. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye bye.